we are live. Thank you for joining us for our Friday night fantastical Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition Excapade. I am your DM this evening, Will Tomorrow, and every evening, frankly, here at the League of Raconteur Explorers. And with me are my four friends here to help take you through, the fantastical wilds of currently the Sword Coast, and of course, the entire cosmology of the D&D multiverse. But we're getting ahead of ourselves just a little there, aren't we? Because we are going to start out by thanking you for being with us here this evening. There are a million ways that you could spend your Friday night, and you've chosen it to be here with us. I can't express just how much that means to us. It's incredible. We couldn't do it without your support, your eyeballs, your bits, your viewer points, drams of fate, your drams of fate. Yes, very classy, drams of fate. It just means so much to us that you're here to watch us nerd out, and we hope to put on a hell of a show for you as a result. In addition to Dungeons and Dragons, on Tuesday night we have alternating Wildermyth voiceover and The Zone RPG. In addition to that, we're doing pickup games of The Zone in our Discord, which you can access a link to by hitting !Discord. And of course, you can support the show by following or subscribing, even for free, using Amazon Prime, should you so choose. But with that established, let's start with our campfire tale before I recap the events of last week. I suppose this one, actually, we can do a little tie-in, right? Because this campfire tale could be transpiring while you guys are taking what I'm assuming is going to be the long rest, right? At the end of the, a quite voracious ass-kicking that you received at the hands of the Bugbear Clark. But again, I said I wasn't going to describe what happened last week just yet, didn't I? No. In fact, we are sitting around the Goblin campfire, I guess, on their wet, uncured hives in Yemek's Grotto, if you will recall, as Rife is poking the embers, maybe with a severed goblin limb, and regaling us with a tale.
There I was, fresh out of training and assigned to a land-bound post. I was hoping to be back in one of the enclaves. You young folk, you know nothing of glory or might. You dwarves may have tunneled deep into the bedrock and built mighty underground citadels. And you elves may have wondrous magical dwellings in trees and cities in the fairylands. But Netheril, we had massive floating cities over the land and could put up a new one at least every shield meet. Can you imagine living in a city and flying in the sky? Wondrous it was. So no, I didn't mind working for the mages. Even the necromancers weren't so bad. After all, they were only dealing with creatures that were already dead to begin with. At least that's what I thought at the time. But don't let me get ahead of myself. Have you seen an owl attack its prey? It uses its sharp, hooked bills to tear the flesh into bloody pieces. It can also swallow small prey whole, usually head first. But if that's not enough to shake you in your boots, imagine a bear who kills its prey by biting it in the neck. It can also break an animal's spine with a single strike of its forepaw. Now, imagine a great lumbering beast that has a massive hooked bill to tear your head clean off and swallow it whole and smash you so hard with this massive paw that it shatters your back. Yes, I'm talking about owlbears. There used to be an outpost around these parts. At least that was the idea. But there was a horde of about 3,000 of them in the area. That's when we were brought in. Sure, the mages could have blasted most of them, but would have set the forest on fire. And there was always a chance that an owlbear would avoid the attack. And let's just say wizardly robes don't hold up too well to a hooked beak and claws. They ended up calling it the Caravan War. Not that I saw the end of it. We were well into exterminating a lot of them when we started hearing the high-pitched cry of something no sane person can listen to for long and remain that way. At first, we laughed and thought perhaps too much land-bound time was getting to us. That is, until a couple of forays into the woods told us different. This thing was smart. It was almost like it was playing a game with us. From the few glimpses we had, it was pure black feathers and fur and a weird level of intelligence. More than a few of us never came back from the woods trying to hunt it down. At some point, we developed a respect for the beast. Occasionally, one of us would find one of its black feathers on the ground and we'd keep it as a prize for having been near the creature and come back in one piece. We'd preserve the feathers and hang them on our armor. Started calling ourselves the Tenebrous Corps. Started off as a joke, but I guess that's what eventually got me noticed by him. I've talked enough. You all need your sleep.
Did you know that a group of owlbears is actually called a grump, not a horde?
I don't think he cares.
I don't really care. And how long ago was that? I'm talking a couple thousand years ago.
It definitely could have developed. Maybe they used to be happier.
Maybe. Sounds like that one wasn't too happy with people in his wood.
Did you ever eat the owl bears?
Well,
After you
yeah.
kill them?
Plenty of times. Pretty
I mean,
tough, but
They taste okay.
Interesting.
I don't mind owlbear, says Billy the Goblin from his tied-up position in the corner.
But you eat your own poop. Doesn't matter.
I don't mind goblin poop. But with that, we should probably explain why there's a tied-up goblin in a corner and a middle-aged man nursing a badly wounded half-stump of a left hand. A couple of goblin corpses with their heads stove in the corner. And, well, any number of the events that had transpired over the last week in the Cragmaw hideout. Well, yeah, well, I suppose we have to backtrack to even the week before. I said even the week before Cragmaw soundtrack. Thank you. Thank you, Cragmaw soundtrack. When, our party was waylaid on the Tribor Trail in their attempt to carry a wagon load of goods to the outpost frontier town of Phandalin for one Gundarin Rockseeker. The goblin arrows did not do their job, and they found themselves well beat into a paste in the afternoon air. You guys followed the trail of these goblins, not wanting them to waylay any further travelers, right, to their, mountain cave hideout. You were flushed out of the tunnel once, battled some nefarious goblins, made a deal with Yimik that included, well, just violence, really. There was no negotiation. There was only force. Right? Made your way to the master of the Cragmaw hideout, one bugbear in a crown named Clark, who gave a mighty soliloquy as he died at your hand to, again, more violence. And you guys found yourselves the heroes of the story, at least. Well, in one telling, yeah? In another telling, what happened is you came across some gainfully employed fellows and murdered them for doing their job, and then followed their trail back to their home, where you committed a home invasion robbery, murdering their pets, right? Getting involved in a domestic affair between two of them, deciding neither of them deserved to live, and murdering all of them essentially to the man, including taking on an NPC companion that decided that despite the fact that two of them had surrendered and been bound, that it was appropriate to beat their heads in with a rock. So good guys all around, right? I'm getting good guys out of this. We were good guys. Perspective, again, a hell of a drug, ain't it? But we find ourselves here now in the presence of Sildar Hallwinter. Everybody, I'm assuming, having taken that long rest during the intervening campfire tale, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Anybody have an objective to sleeping in the caves for their 8 or 4 hours of meditation, depending on their race?
Nah, I've slept in worse.
Excellent. Long rests. going around, Alestria gets a long rest. It's
You
a
get
long
a long
rest for Sarah.
You get a long rest.
You
Everybody
get a
gets
long rest.
Long
You get a
rest
long
for
rest.
Rife, and a long rest for Taliesin. Now, if I am not mistaken, did we discover...
I'm only 4 feet tall. I take a short rest all the time.
It's a medium rest. I mean, it's still a long sleep.
I'm a medium-sized rest.
But, did that... Oh, it looks like it very well may have recovered hit points for everybody, too. Look at that. Ooh, we didn't even have to roll for it. It did the hit
Feel
die.
fresh.
Ooh, everybody is fresh and fancy-free. Rife's neck has stitched itself up. The various tree root-related puncture wounds from Clark the Bugbear have sewn
We could see his
themselves
spinal
shut.
column at one point. I hope that's
You could
cleaned
see
up.
his spinal column and or viscera both at one point due to the grievous wounds from, well, you know, the tree that was being swung at you guys by the bugbear you slew.
Happens.
Sloon. Again, yes, I still love Sloon. It's coming with us, guys. Even Sloon. But that leaves us with some decisions to make, doesn't it, right? First off, Sildar Hallwinter was entrusted with these goblins' care, and you came back to him just beating the tar out of two of them. Quite past death in a fit of rage, right? Alright, so that's a... I don't know about you guys, but I'm choosing party members, right? Ooh, red flag there, right? Secondly, right, there's the small issue of the fact that you do still have a wagon loaded with supplies that's due for Barthen's provisions, right, in the town of Phandalin. Right? Thirdly, there is Billy the Goblin, who again, Billy in Goblin is Grashnik, right? So Grashnik, if you want to use his proper name, or Billy, if you want to use his slave name, you know. He is, because I'm assuming that's the role if you guys take him with, let's be honest, right? It's not going to be Billy the equal party member, alright?
Billy
we
the
have to figure out-
footman. It's
Billy
fine.
the footman, right? Well, Thrall, there we go. Thrall, yes, but,
Thrall
we'll
has
have
a
to decide-
connotation I don't appreciate.
That's true. We have to decide what we're going to do with this fellow, right? And then lastly, there is the whole wall, like, of crates and barrels and canvas sacks and tarpaulin and tools, all that appear to be bound for the Lion Shield Costers, which we're assuming lies in Phandalin, just given the context clues of what we know about the organization. And they would have to be loaded double tall onto your wagon, which would have to be brought here, which is physical labor and difficult terrain and slick caverns, or your goblin slaves, right? Now, everybody here saw fit to question Billy the Goblin, who I need to reiterate was so low ranking that he wasn't even allowed in Clark's cavern, right? Let alone privy to any tactical information. We did, however, immediately kill Yemek and Clark. We didn't charm them or render them unconscious or incapacitate them in some way. We just murdered them, right? So the two people that may have had some kind of intel that we were looking for, we immediately murder hoboed, and we saved Billy the Goblin. So we got Billy the Goblin. Everybody, big round of applause.
We
for
weren't
us,
gonna save him.
No,
I
if
will
you
remind you.
recall, there was a flashback fantasy where Taliesin forgot that she was going to interrogate Billy the Goblin, and she just shoved a random arrow into his eyeball, completely unbidden, shocking everybody.
I did.
Like, let's not.
But we
It
were
was-
gonna kill him before that too, but they waved their little white flag.
That's
Yemek
right, they
wouldn't
did.
surrender.
Yemek
was-
would
he
not
was-
surrender.
Yeah, he was going to hit us until we died, and so we did it first.
That's
I
true.
mean, I'm not saying it was smart, but
You know, that remains to be seen, doesn't it? But that is where we are in the sticky tarry walled grotto of Yemek, the dead goblin, whose corpse is probably still adorning the raised shelf in the southern half of the cavern. We have spent the night here, so I'm assuming we have become mostly acclimated to the stench at this point, and are needing to figure out just what order of events we are going to take in order to progress.
so I've been sitting here staring at all these crates and boxes with these lion heads on them for quite a while now. And I'm trying to figure out if we've got enough room in our wagon to throw some of this stuff on, or if we're just going to have to go on to Phandalin and then come back for it.
Why don't
What
we
say
just grab a couple of them just so we can show them that we have it, and then someone else can come back and get the rest of it, but pay us a finder's fee.
I mean, we also have apparently their guy who also bears their mark right on his gambeson. So,
He's from he's from the Water Deep. He was.
is he? Okay, I thought he had the lion's head on him too. Oh no, the shield. The shield had the mark on it.
It's
that he had.
The mark of the Lord's Alliance is what the shield
That's right.
is on him.
Well,
Lots of
then we could.
to keep track of. The humans are all fucky.
Are there any sacks there that have the lion's head mark on them?
You could definitely grab a sack or a crate or two and put them in your wagon and bring them to town. And if there's somebody there that wants the rest of them, they could certainly find their way back here for them themselves.
Sure, or hire us to do it if we absolutely had to. Well, we do. Who did you say? I missed the name of who we were delivering our cargo to.
Barton's Provisions.
Barthen's Provisions.
Well, I mean, Gundren Rockseeker was going to be the person, of course, but now he's obviously been waylaid, so.
Sure, I just missed the name of the supplier. No, that's not a bad idea, Rife. I think we should take some. Take probably as many as we can fit on and still throw Sildar in the back as well. I don't particularly feel too comfortable bringing him with us long haul, but we can at least get him back to town.
Well, he said he's going to...
He was going to provide a payment upon being taken to town.
Yeah, he's going to pay us, so at least keep him around to get our coin.
I'm getting paid too as well for this, right?
Yeah.
Well, this part, but not from Gundren, because you weren't here then.
Don't worry, it's fine. We'll figure it out. If you choose to stay on with us, we'll figure something out.
I'm not sure I know where else I would go.
Works for me. More the merrier.
So, should a couple of us go and get the cart and bring it here to load a few things up to take with us, or do you want to trek through the woods carrying boxes and sacks?
I lift up a couple of the sacks. How heavy are we talking on, like, are there some that we could feasibly carry?
Oh, yeah, 20 pounds, yeah.
Okay. I'll just...
Do we need to take all of it, or just some of it?
We're just going to take some of it, because we can't fit all of it in our cart. You didn't really get to get a good look at it, but...
It would be a tower of shit, and it'd be a pain in the ass.
Yeah. I mean, one rut and we're over.
Sounds good to me. Let's just carry it back.
Question, though. We have one more question to deal with before we head back into that other area, where I'm going to say Sildar and the Goblin are. If the Goblin's still alive, what are we going to do with him? I'm inclined to kill him. He ain't no good to us. Now, if we want him to carry stuff, but we can't take him to Phandalin. He's either got to die here or die there.
And we're sure he has no information.
I don't even know if he knows his real name by now.
That Cragmaw Castle is 2 days' travel.
He doesn't even know where. I mean, he might be able to get us there, but what are we going to do? Keep him in a crate until we get to Phandalin and back?
Well, and he is eating his shit and it's covered with fleas.
I really don't want that.
Is he a danger if we leave him by himself?
He might be. We don't need fleas in the cart. We had fleas one time because of that pelt that Alestria wears. But
No. Fleas do not sit on feathers. That is not how that works. You know better than that.
It did.
No.
They were in there. We had to have it cleaned. I remember, even if you don't.
Was
Please
not a
don't
cheap
spit on it.
prestidigitationing.
Ooh, but we have someone who can prestidigitate.
I could get rid of the fleas.
You could literally magically scrub Billy the Goblin.
Could you? Yeah, can you prestidigitate the Goblin? I've never seen one clean. Are they even green?
I assume at this point, she has prestidigitated all of us of the blood and whatever else we've run into in this cavern.
No, that is not at all been. No,
She could give it a try.
Sariel, could you maybe give it a try on me first?
The only thing she's tried to prestidigitate was that dead guy.
If you could just remove some of the blood and muck, that would be helpful.
Elves,
Sure.
Chrissy.
I can't guarantee if it'll work again, or here. I'll give it a try. And I walk over to Alestria. I close my eyes and I concentrate really hard. Okay. Concentrate
Yeah.
really, really hard.
Yeah.
You know,
Can't
to
Just
lay
be a cantrip, right? Doesn't
yeah,
it just
no,
happen?
yeah, no, you don't have to do any. There's no, poof, he's clean, or she's clean.
There's like a warm wind that blows through her ratty hair, and you just
I did it.
No,
You're
but
clean.
yeah, it does knock the dreads out of her elf
It's
hair.
just a joke, Alestria.
You know, just because your senses are not fine-tuned enough to smell the goblin blood doesn't mean that others can't smell it.
Oh, I bet it really helped getting it off you, even though we're like
did.
surrounded by it.
It's not right next to my nose now. It's
Did it get
Quite
rid
a
of
I
it?
walk around.
quite a
Did
bit
the
cold.
I now walk around
prestidigitation
and I-
take off the grease paint?
Oh yeah, for
No,
sure.
no, that's
Yeah.
like tattooed on or
Oh,
something.
is it a okay. Just making sure if you had to turn around real quick. And...
I walk over to Rife and I look him up and down. I think you might need some extra here, Rife.
I don't know what you're
And
talking about.
I give
I hold him in
Taliesin,
hand.
Do it.
I act like I'm sprinkling him.
a very knowing look and wait to chuckle.
Wait, are you salt baying him right now?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
extra.
I mean,
Extra on Rife.
his armor gets clean, but it turns out a lot of that is not dirt.
That's just the color he is.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, you
it's
expected
just
a
the
much
texture of his
larger-
skin.
You expected a
I'll try
much
harder
more
next
dramatic
time, Rife.
result.
I'm sorry I
Like-
couldn't get you completely clean.
Maybe a nice healing balm would help, but that skin is just dry.
Yeah.
Well, one thing we know, Sariel, if you don't know what else to do, you could probably get a job at an inn just keeping it clean. But I got a better idea. This little goblin thing. Let's clean him up, put a hood over him, and sell him off as an orphan boy. Maybe there's a reward
Wait.
for that.
No, we're not
No,
going to
we don't.
swindle
We don't
somebody
even
in
do that
town
with
a
real
goblin.
orphan boys. Why would we do it with a goblin?
No.
Did you just
Cyril, perhaps
did
you
you
could.
just suggest
Yeah, child slavery and trafficking. Yeah, that's what he just suggested.
like not even with a real child, just dressing up a goblin like an orphan and being like, no, I swear it's a kid. Don't take the bag off, it bites. Don't take the bag off till you get home. Like
I make some type of gesture and just like, oh gods.
Sarah-
I'd like to walk over and clean Taliesin and myself.
Yeah, I mean, everybody is relatively clean. You know, prestidigitation isn't perfect magical cleaning, but it's a damn sight better than you were. You know, and everybody feels refreshed, except for perhaps Rife, who, you know, is probably uncomfortable. Do you also prestidigitate Billy the Goblin?
Yeah, they're in the next room, right?
Yeah, well, it turns out that Billy the Goblin isn't in fact green. No, it turns out when goblins are washed, right, that they are kind of a, baby dookie yellow. Right, like a brownish yellow hue to them, right? His hair is shiny and black, right? His teeth are sparkling white little barbs, and his reddish eyes don't seem quite so sunken into blackened pits anymore. And he is screaming, "What did you do to my stench?" Like writhing in his wrappings, like trying to filthy himself on the blood and intestines on the floor. You know, I don't know if you've ever bathed a dog and then had them immediately run out to the stinkiest thing ever.
Oh, you
Very
goblin.
similar.
What are you doing? I just cleaned you up.
Billy, what's your real name?
Grashnik, we've been over this.
Oh, sorry, I don't listen well. Grashnik, you look actually you look like a very menacing goblin. Like, if I'd seen a clean goblin, like, everybody's seen filthy goblins. And everybody is like, that's old news. It has been. Passé. Bleh. You being clean strikes fear in the hearts of men, I swear.
Big boss fear?
Big boss fear. I mean, not from us, because we've already dealt with you.
Oh, yeah,
But
you're big
from
you're
other
big
people.
Boss. You're big boss.
Yeah, but other people, they're going to be like, what's his deal? He's got the brain cells to tell him that he needs to clean up or else he'll die of infection before he's 15.
What do you Taliesin?
Huh? I'm just...
What are you saying to that little...
Yeah, yeah. You'll live even longer as Big Boss. But
Yeah, it was
first,
my idea. Clean
Sure.
Grashnik.
yeah, your ideal all day.
Very
So,
good. Yes.
do you mind helping us for a bit?
Grashnik do anything Big Boss likes.
Carry a box?
Especially now that you reveal new horizons and fashion to Grashnik.
See? As it is, we have this, if you help us get back to our cart, I bet I can give you brand new filthy rags for you to wear, and it'll be even more intimidating.
Filthy with.
The blood of your enemies. Or a dead horse. Either way.
Horses can be enemies.
That's what I think. My granddog got kicked by one when I was a little one.
He's about it. I mean, he kind of comes to his feet and hops up and down excitedly until he loses his balance and topples over.
We'll work on that.
The rest of you sitting there going like, to this thing, who's like growling back at her, but then he gets excited and falls over.
I can't tell if he's happy or terrified.
What did you say to him, Taliesin?
Oh, I told him that if he likes to be, that he didn't want to be clean. I told him that by being clean, he'll strike fear in the hearts of men because no one has ever seen a clean goblin. And it obviously puts him on a separate level than all the filthy ones that we've seen before. But he said he'll carry some boxes back if we let him roll around in the dead horse for a while.
So you lied to him?
I mean, have you ever seen a clean goblin? Do you think some person out there on the thing might see? I don't think it's a lie. Could be a conjecture at the most, but it's not necessarily a lie. Just because I don't know.
At worst.
Speaking of lying to him, how about another idea to make some money off this little guy? Let's cut his legs off, put a hood on him, have him pretend to be a beggar, send him on the streets of Phandalin.
No, we're not.
He'll be a beggar. No.
Why are you insisting on putting a bag over his head?
All of your ideas end with bagging this goblin and like taking him to a dark site for some reason. Like
we're just he's gonna carry some stuff back. We're gonna let him roll around on the horse for a while. We'll bring him back or whatever we need to do, or we'll just end him there. But right now he's being okay. He says we're Big Boss, so he's doing everything that we say, but always keep him in the front of the pack. Never let him go behind us. Never turn your back on a goblin, even a clean one. Especially
as long as he's not hurting anybody, I don't see why we can't bring him along. Why can't he just join the party with us?
Well, he will hurt somebody eventually. Let's see how he does going to the dead horse and back.
A small bat seems to have lost its footing from its perch upside down on the ceiling and landed on the floor next to Billy the Goblin, who has immediately leapt at it mouth first and is currently gnashing on it, one of its wings still kind of flapping in his mouth.
I just give a look at Serial. That's kind of what they do.
Do
that's fine.
Not
he wasn't
think
ours.
Very well.
Do they not what? Eat or think?
Do they not think very well?
They don't
Do they not
think
have
at all.
very high intelligence?
Oh, not at all.
They're smarter than dogs. Barely.
I don't know. I've met some dogs that are not smarter than this guy.
I mean, if dogs could talk, they'd probably be on a similar level, honestly.
You know, Serial, you haven't really been officially welcomed into the group. I think after this goblin carries some of that stuff back for us, you should take your black spear and just shove it right in his heart and watch the light just go out of his eyes. Then you'd really be a good member of this group.
I hope that it goes without saying, but Rife does not necessarily speak for all three of us.
But his voice is extremely valid and heard.
Just want to let you know. Right? Let's circle back to maybe disemboweling the goblin is like an initiation ritual, huh?
I look down at my spear, and then I look back at the goblin, and I look at Rife, and I look around, and I'm just like completely confused.
So, let's find something. Let's see how much he can carry, and let's get on.
Twice his little goblin body weight, it turns out. Little robust
Fantastic.
fellow, like a little ant. Mm-hmm. He
Oh,
can pick up a couple
Greshnik.
of crates and carry a couple of crates and carry them.
He's very
If
strong
you-
for his size.
If you untied him, of course.
He's untied, but he does have a bit of rope wrapped around his waist that it's like a leash.
You're
Like
right,
one of
yeah,
those backpacks you put on kids in amusement
Yep.
parks.
Yup.
Hey, little kid. Yeah, no, please tell me it's got a little recoil. You can just snap
Oh,
him
it's just
back.
it's
Yeah.
literally just a rope. The recoil is me going.
Yeah, just yanking on it. Excellent. And so I take it then that we are going to march back to the wagon loaded up with the lion's head crate and sack and head on to Phandalin then?
Yeah.
We've got plenty of room for you, Sildar. I think I've even got some stuff in my. I've got a bedroll you can use if you'd like to rest in the back with the goods. Unless you'd like to sit up front.
That would be appreciated.
Hoping you don't want to sit up front. Oh, is he sitting up the front?
No, he's gonna lie down in the back for sure.
Okay. Shotgun!
Right? I need a good drink and a night's rest. My understanding is
Oh! Haha!
Phandalin has a very unique inn.
Have you ever heard of Clan Stone?
Oh my god, Stria! Oh, god.
I want to say Cold Stone, and I know that's wrong.
Cold Stone is my
Stone
name.
Creamery.
Stone Shaft is my clan. God.
I really want ice
Amazing
cream.
ice cream.
I pour him. So I turned a little spigot on me cask and I pour him the finest 3 weeks in a warm cask Stone Shaft ale, straight
He-
from Torbeard Cold Irons.
Is the first human you've ever seen knock that back and not gag. But not only that, he doesn't even turn his face up at it. He takes it like water and seems slightly refreshed as he passes it back. Thank you.
You ever fancied a dwarf there, Mr. Hallwinter?
I fancied a lot of things in my 52 years in Sword Coast.
Well,
You don't become
this
a Griffin
dwarf is
Knight of
fancying
Waterdeep
you.
without getting around.
Good thing we've got 2 alcoholics in the group now.
Well, it's an alcoholic that can't handle their cups. You might find me in the bottom of one, but you'll never find me at the bottom with it.
Maybe I'll ride in the back with you.
He kind of leans back, shut-eye going on there, still cradling the hand. Although now that you guys are out in the light of day, anybody can give me a perception check.
Ooh.
Nat 20.
Nat 20, right. It makes sense that you would be on top of this. A 5 and an 8 coming from Alestria and Sariel. And a 10 from Teleas and Rife. He clearly moves like a practiced swordsman. Also clearly favors his left hand, meaning he was left hand dominant and his left hand was his sword hand. I say was his sword hand because he is clearly missing the right finger along with the ring and pinky finger on that hand now, and any swordsman worth his salt knows that you need the middle finger for the grip strength opposite your thumb. Without it, you can't wield a weapon, and he's useless now. He'll never hold a sword again.
So as we're returning, I'll lean over to Sariel and I'll whisper to her. So we have a little. You're new here. You don't really know this. We have a way we welcome new people in, and since he's new with us, maybe he's uncomfortable. We give him a nickname. In his case, I think Stumpy. We got to go for Stumpy.
Stumpy.
You know, his hand.
No,
missing.
Sariel, no.
Okay.
He tried to call
Stumpy.
me Stumpy as well because I'm short.
So, now, Teleas and Alestria, you know that a guy, you don't become a Griffin Knight Waterdeep without being a fairly martial person, right? Like, if he's not going to wield that sword hand, that's probably a lot of his identity was wrapped up in that historically. It's going to be problematic for him for sure. Stumpy might be an offensive moniker. And although he's missing his dominant hand, he could probably still headbutt the shit out of you, you know?
Or beat someone to death with a rock.
Right hand seemed to do that just fine back there in the Kragmaw hideout, didn't it?
Right. Perhaps the experienced fighter is not the one that we should be giving terrible nicknames to.
I'm just trying to help out her. She's new to this, I think. Fell out of the sky.
So-
She's new here. She just needs a little reality.
Do we not call him Stumpy then?
Don't call him Stumpy.
Well, not to his
Why?
face. Just behind his back.
Not even then. Let's not mock the poor man for what happened when the goblins got a hold of him.
Maybe I could try healing his hand. Would that fix it? Maybe.
It would definitely stitch together the wounded tissue. I am afraid it is not going to grow back those fingers that are in some goblin stomachs right now, though, no.
It would
That
at least
take
keep
a-
it from getting infected.
That's true. It would
You know-
require a divine intervention at this point.
I knew a guy who could probably sew some goblin fingers onto his hand. It wouldn't be quite as good as new, but it may work.
I don't
think
think
you
that's
would
how
find
it
that
works.
objectionable as well, probably. I mean, hey, goblins ate your hand, so here's a goblin hand, you know? You wake up every morning, just first
Could he
thing
have
reminder.
Billy's hand?
Let's not cut off anybody's hand and try to graft it to his. I don't think any of us are skilled enough, and I doubt that where we're going there's anyone that has that skill.
Yeah, it's gonna be a disadvantage on that medicine check, dog, for sure. But we're 2 hours or so travel to Phandalin from where we have reconvened with the cart. What have we done with Billy the Goblin at this point? Is he tied up? Is
Well,
he
that was the
wandering
question.
alongside The cart? Yeah, what are we,
That
are
was
we
the question. Did we
executing him?
bring him with us, or did we just let him like roll around in the horse and then kill him? Or
Do
by
we-
God, did we send him back? I doubt it, though.
Do we need to kill him?
I mean, we
Do
could
we
let
just
him go, but he'll just
hobble
tell
him?
people.
Did
I
you
mean-
suggest to hobble him? Is that what you just suggested?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Alright,
he's-
just cut his Achilles tendon and leave him on the roadside. He won't be a threat
I'm-
to anyone.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if we don't kill him, he'll either tell other goblins that we're probably going to be coming back or heading to Castle Cragmaw. Or, if we hobble him, he'll just like swear vengeance on us and show up as we're trying to throw a ring into some volcano.
Or we could take him with us.
I mean, we can, but what are we going to do with him?
You mean the
I
kid
don't even-
idea, right?
No.
Sell him to a
right.
farmer.
Any of your plans that start with first we put a bag on his head are not going to work.
I mean, they'd probably work, but I mean, could you sleep at night?
No. I think that perhaps he
I
had.
mean, I kind of like the little bastard. I
Well,
mean,
Look at us.
I think he should
Taliesin.
come with us.
Look at us. None of us are what our societies would call normal. I mean, I don't. Maybe Sariel. Maybe Rife. And you're a dwarven ranger.
I'm an
spends a lot of
upstanding dwarven citizen, child of the hold. There's nothing abnormal about me. Oh. Who needs Who needs enemies when you got friends like you? Jesus.
What I'm
Got
saying
the goblin
is,
calling me fat. You're calling me weird.
What I'm saying is we are.
I appreciate you, Taliesin.
Oh wait, that's in common. Never mind.
Thank you.
I think he was calling you Cold Shaft earlier, too. Oh, Cold Stone.
That's an inappropriate name that is only used among certain people and not for me.
That's for our OnlyFans broadcast. Oh, not anymore. Actually, never mind. Yeah.
Yeah, not anymore.
I'm just saying that he could be a unique goblin. We could.
I'm fine with bringing him with us. I
I'll-
don't really have the heart to kill him right now.
I
What if
can
this
take.
is the goblin that cures cancer, man.
I could take responsibility for him if that would make you feel better.
I'm down with that. You know me and responsibility. Hate it.
All right. First, you're gonna have to do a little bit of translating for me since he doesn't speak a lick of Common or Elven.
Okay.
Oh wait, I speak. Does he speak Dwarven by chance?
I say something to him in Dwarven, like, "Hey, your mom's a rat."
So, here's an issue that we have here, linguistically, right? Goblins have a written language. Do you know what alphabet Goblin uses by chance?
Goblinoid.
It's the Dwarven alphabet. It's Dwarven runes
Oh.
that Goblins use. A lot of your words, right, are to a Dwarven ear bastardized yet disgustingly similar, right? So no, he doesn't technically speak Goblin, right? But it's like French and Italian, right? There's a lot of intermingling.
It's like, yeah, the Latin languages are all very similar, you know.
Right, it's the language of the underground of the sword code.
The underground languages are kind of similar.
So then,
dialectally, yeah, but no,
I will.
he doesn't.
I will turn to him, and I will get up on in my seat to drive the cart, and I will motion for him to join me.
Yeah, I mean, he gets that much, but I mean, I believe he's still bound. So, are you gonna pull him up on the rope, or are you gonna?
Yeah,
I mean, he's just got the leash on.
Has
His
the rope on
hands are
just a
free.
leash at this point. His hands are free. Oh yeah, he'll scramble up alongside you there.
You just tie him off to the side of the cart.
And then in Dwarven, I will speak slowly and say, "You, good, you no die. You bad, you die."
I'm watching
What's
with
that
interest.
about hair color?
Okay. Yeah. He loves it, by the way. It's great, clean. We're already
Oh,
on to a
yes.
good start.
Yes.
Not
dyed.
She's basically
This is
saying,
my natural color.
"Oh, I believe it. I believe it. Not a sign of roots." As it is, essentially, you're welcome to come with us. But you gotta behave. Like, not try to kill us. If you do try to kill us... Well, right now we're going to Phandalin. Have you ever been to Phandalin? It's like a big city.
Goblins aren't allowed in Phandalin.
Well, we're gonna put a hood over your... It's not gonna be enclosed. I didn't suggest the same thing. We're just gonna put a little hood on your head, and you're just gonna look down, okay? And but we're gonna take you to Phandalin. And we're gonna show you the sights.
And then
But
we're
if you
going to
try to
sell you
hurt
as
us-
a child, an orphan child.
Keeping it 100, our goblins have kind of been raiding Phandalin, killing their people and eating their children's livers for a few months.
Well, let me give you...
It's unlikely that they're going to be terribly receptive to Billy's presence.
Here's the deal, Grashnik.
Now, I
As
haven't
much
eaten
as
any
you-
livers personally, right? I'm a good goblin. I'm under the good. I'm
Sure.
clean goblin.
Sure, you're clean now. They might not even know that you're a goblin, but say that they do. This is the options. The long and the short of it is, you either come with us and be good and don't die, or you stay here and probably die. Really die. You're gonna die. We can't just let you go.
Can you be a big boss if you're dead?
No.
Oh, well, that's not gonna... I have to go... I mean, if I'm gonna be a big boss...
See? You just have to be good. Keep your head down, or sit in the back with me, either way. We'll take you to Phandalin.
And they won't kill me on sight?
No.
That was very reassuring. I'm not
Good.
terribly bright.
Well, that's fine. It's fine. It'll be fine. I mean, and I look at the rest of them and I'm like, are you sure we just don't want to let him go back? I don't really want to.
Go back where?
To the hideout.
Where whoever we send out here is just going to kill him? If we're gonna kill him, then let's just kill him. But I'm not going to have him sit here and potentially...
They're going to
warn
kill him in
other goblins.
Phandalin. That's what he said. They're going to kill him in Phandalin anyway. So we just need to make a decision.
There.
how about we auction him off for a hunt? So we go to Phandalin. Everyone gets to put in like, I don't know, copper, silver. Maybe a couple guys can afford gold. We give Billy like a 10-count head start, right? Whoever chips in gets to run after him. Whoever kills him gets half the pot. We keep the rest.
We're going to take you to Phandalin, Grashnik. And we might not be able to come into the city, but we'll find a place to stow you outside, all right?
I'll be good. Big boss, be good, boss.
There you go, yeah, because if you die or do something that'll get you dead, it's gonna end, you can't be big boss. Right?
So, no children.
No children, no humans.
No man flesh.
No man flesh.
What if they're already dead?
Have at it.
Yeah. He sits there and kind of happily hums off key to himself.
All right, I've changed my mind. Killing him is back on the table.
Yeah, so I just need to stop and clarify. You did just give him permission to eat man flesh as long as it was already dead when he stumbled across it. Now, there's probably a graveyard in Phandalin. There's, there's just...
I'm not bringing him into Phandalin. I'm leaving him outside.
Right, okay, just clarifying. I mean, as far as Billy understands, right, if it's already dead, it's fair game, and he's a hungry little dude, so...
I mean, hopefully he ate some horse before he got on the cart.
He's been eating all kinds of stuff. I mean, he's had Yemik's face, right? Some of the bodies of the two goblins that were tied next to him, that baddie got off the floor, the rotted horse meat. He's insatiable.
In common, I say quite plainly that I don't think there's a good idea. Either way, as long as he's in this cart, which he already is, and we're already headed to Phandalin, he's gonna die somewhere. And the longer he's with us, the more attached I'm getting to him, and that sickens me. Okay?
Yeah, that's not right. Favorite
I
anime?
don't want to like him, but you know
no,
how I am with animals. I pick up strays all the time. He's a stray.
Is this an alien mind situation? No.
I don't know.
Anybody alien mind? No, is that too deep of a cut? Man, wow.
Sorry, yeah.
No, guy crash lands on a planet with a reptile alien. They're enemies in a war. Then the reptile alien has a baby, and he ends up rearing his own child, and his people come for him, and they get separated. It's a really good movie. Dang. All right,
I thought that when you got stuck on a planet with a reptile alien, you had to axe handle chop him to death, and then make gun.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, otherwise he'll hit you with a latex rubber boulder, and he can't be having that shit.
Yeah, you don't want that. That's bad.
That's unacceptable.
So, what you guys are telling me is that if we leave him alone by himself, he will hurt someone.
Yeah.
There's a really good chance.
There's a really good chance. We're not, one afternoon with this little guy is not going to make him not violent to other humans. And humans are not, or anyone else at that, not even just humans. People in general, civilized folk of Phandalin and the towns, are going to see him and see a killer. And
they won't be wrong. It's not.
They won't be wrong.
Nature.
He's killed other. It's his nature. It's not that he's. Yeah, it's not that he's evil. He's just. This is how they live. This is what they do. Bringing him out and letting him surrender was beneficial to us for a time, but now he's all clean and stuff, and he looks kind of cute in the right light. His hair's all shiny and black. And he's being quite polite. And now I don't know what to do, because I hate goblins. Well, I guess we haven't talked about that yet, but I'll tell you about it later.
So, Sariel,
I'll close my eyes, and I'll sigh to myself, and when I open my eyes, I steal my gaze at him. He's still turned around, humming to himself, right?
Yep.
And I'll bring my hands up slowly, and I'll wiggle my fingers, and prismatic light starts to come out, and I cast a sacred flame on him.
Oh yeah, go ahead and do it with advantage. He's completely
Look at the flowers, Grushnik. Look at the flowers.
Go to your happy place.
Keep petting the bunny.
I should have called you Lenny. I didn't know.
Oh no.
Did that
There's
work?
a-
That didn't work.
There's a wild magic highball perhaps in the chat.
Oh my
Oh.
gosh.
Uh-oh.
And it's for Billy.
It's for Billy.
Billy the Goblin says, "Hey guys,
Wait.
what's this?" And he holds up a quaking red flask that starts to pulse with light as it bubbles up in the pop.
Oh,
Who let him near the goods?
God. And I duck down in the back.
Billy can take one additional action immediately, right? Which means he is going to, in the reflection of the highball, see that Sariel's hand is out and the magic is starting to form on her fingertips. And he's going to spin around and go, "Get fucked!" and sprint off into the woods as fast as his little goblin feet will carry him. Just poof, off into the
Wait. I had him tied by the leash around his waist to the side of the cart.
That's true. So he's going to run off into the brush, right? And then 20 or so feet in, you hear a twang as the thing snaps to it and a little off in the distance, right? But he has managed to dodge Sariel's attack with his bonus action and is now quite aware that she was trying to murk him.
Well,
We need to roll
I was
initiative.
trying to purge him.
Well, I
An
appreciate
enemy
that.
mine is amazing. Seriously, get it.
Do we need to roll initiative?
I mean, he is trying. I mean, his initiative will be to untie that rope and flee off into the woods. His whole point is, he thought you guys were buddies. He decided to off him. He understands how it works. He's a goblin. It's how goblin society works. But
Okay,
he's
I'm
also
gonna-
survived for 3 years in goblin society, so he's getting the fuck out of Dodge, right?
I'm gonna grab the rope and hop out of the cart and pull and run. Like I'm gonna pull it as I run,
All right.
and then I'm gonna stab him with an arrow.
Oh my goodness. So we are gonna commit a war crime. Okay, cool. Just checking. I mean, we didn't get it. We didn't get it done last week.
It's
so
not
we
a
might
war
as-
crime. It's not a. I wasn't going to, but now he's running away. I mean,
He's a
We have to be
surrendered
at
king.
war before it's a war crime. Now it's just murder.
That's tell you who's true. It's just plain old murder.
It's not murder, it's mercy.
It's
Give
collateral
me,
damage.
A strength check against poor Billy the Goblin here. Oh no, poor Billy. Rolls a 3. He's clawing at the dirt all muddy again. Oh, against your 19 plus 1.
I'm
I
sorry,
mean,
buddy. I didn't know she was gonna do it, but now it's too late because now you're feral again.
I'm a big boss!
You are. You're the biggest boss.
Oh, just coup de grace. There's a wet thock noise, and he twitches a little and lies silent in the dirt alongside the trail. Rip Billy the Goblin, we barely knew ya.
Well, that went well.
I
I
just
look over at
clean off
Sariel
my
and I
arrow.
just say,
Oh, go ahead.
"You're gonna fit in just fine."
Can we not encourage the new party
I-
member to just murder haphazardly? Maybe.
I kind of
Well,
like Billy
couldn't
the
let
Goblin,
something
fuck,
evil
man.
roam
Wow.
around.
I did too. I was growing fond of him,
I mean,
but
that's why it had to be done, though, for sure.
yeah, I clean off my arrow and I find a little stone and I just set it on his little chest and
Aw,
I go,
grave marker.
"Gods be with ye," and I walk off.
As you guys leave, Billy the Goblin gasps to light. No, he's dead. You killed him.
He sits up like Michael Myers.
No, I actually, yeah, Billy the Goblin becomes the main big bad.
He just
You find him at the end of it. He's got all the magical artifacts.
he's got a
just
mask that he wears
And when
so
he
he
says
can get into cities.
when he says "me, big boss," it's just all echoes, nothing but echoes.
Oh man, but yeah, thank you, Henry. I mean, you do have enough points to make a villain if you want to create a goblin warlock.
Do
I mean,
it.
That shit happens all the time.
Do it.
With that established, guys, I think we are going to segue. How are you guys feeling? My bladder is about to rupture because I've had a lot of tea today, I guess. I would like to take our mid-show
I
break
say
a half
let's-
hour early. If
let's do
anybody
it.
If anybody else is okay with that, do we feel good with that? Do you think 2 hours in the back half will be too much? It's a nice
fine.
segue for Phandalin, too. Then we can just non-stop the action. Excellent. In that case, guys, we are going to take our 10-minute break a little early tonight and then come back and introduce you to Phandalin. Now, I know, if you are familiar with D&D, you go, Phandalin? Really? I mean, it's in, like, every other module, right? Like, it's well-trod territory. I guarantee you have never seen Phandalin like Lore is going to do Phandalin. So stick around through the 10 minutes and stick around for that. And before we go, if you like what you see, follow that show. That gets you into the chat, right? And then you can talk to all these fine people. You can join the Discord. You can play Final Fantasy with us. You can watch our other shows in our fantastic lineup. Did you know also that you could support this very independent, personally funded community nerd theater with either a normal subscription where you hit that $5 and they give us some of that, or with your Amazon Prime account? That's right, Jeff Bezos is sitting there, right, eating sushi off of a naked underage girl. Let's make it real vile, right? Ooh, Jeff Bezos, ooh, right? And you could take some of that wasabi and tuna steak right out of his chopsticks. That's right, with that Amazon Prime subscription. Just hit subscribe with Prime, $2.50. All right, so maybe like the black sesame seeds or whatever, you know, $2.50. Let's be reasonable, right? But like still, if enough of those add up, right, he won't be taking dick rockets into space anymore, and you will be funding 100% independently funded community theater, which, I mean, that's a win-win as far as I'm concerned. But stick around. We'll be back in 10 minutes. I can't wait to show you what we've got coming up. And we are back. Thank you for sticking with us through the break as we progress eastward down the Tribor Trail. Thank you also for the subs there during the break, by Rael and Rueworth. As our posse proceeds eastward down the Tribor Trail towards the outpost frontier town of Phandalin. So, the trail, of course, on the Tribor after you turned off the King's Road, right, has been, what you would consider like a back road or a wagon-rutted trail of the Old West, right? More than a road proper, but seems to become more well-traveled after about an hour east along its confines. In fact, the ruts in the road become less furrowed, right? It looks a little maintained. You start to see the beginnings of low field stone walls, seeming to segregate different areas as being blocked off by different farmsteads or homesteads, although none of the land is precisely developed. The low, green, verdant hillocks kind of sparsely forested. Certainly not the thick brush that you left behind at the Crag Maw hideout. The rutted track you've been following emerges from the wooded hillside, and it's then that you first catch your glimpse of Phandalin. The frontier town consists of 40 or 50 simple log buildings, mostly built on weathered stone foundations. As you guys turn the bend south into Phandalin, down the hillside, into the sloping town, we're going to get an intelligence history check from everybody. Those of us with stone cunning, this happens to be an intelligence history check specifically related to stone, so go ahead and take it with advantage.
Nice.
Well, yeah, I mean, you had a 20 there anyway. You're not going to do much better than that, you know? But, now, Sarah,
I didn't
you
do it.
do not have stone cunning. Uh-oh.
That was I think that was the advantage for my other roll earlier. That didn't go off.
God. You can just hit the advantage button to turn it off, too. But we'll take that 20 because, I mean, that's the one you would have picked up anywhere there. So, everybody, old rocks. So listen, these stones were first hewn by dwarves of a southern clan, obviously from the tool works on the side of the stones, nearly a millennia ago. I mean, they got fine quarrying, still near perfect masonry, despite several centuries of weathering. As you run your finger along it and kind of take the dust as the cart passes, you can tell that they were maintained until 300 or 400 years ago or so, when they fell into disrepair.
This is fine dwarven craftsmanship if I ever seen it. Not my clan, but still good stuff. Appreciate it. You'll do you
Talking
well.
about talking about those stones over there?
Yeah, to the rest of you, loose piles of stone covered in ivy and brambles, right? To her, fine dwarven craftsmanship, speaking of a millennia of conserved knowledge.
It's still standing, is it not?
And, I mean, you guys don't have a practiced eye. Were you to take a level to it, the stones would be true. Certainly plumb, after 1,000 years of standing in place. I mean, it's dwarf work through and through, for sure. The same cannot be said of the wooden log buildings that are now standing on top of the fieldstone foundations, right? Clearly built upon the ruins of a much older town. More old dwarven ruins, crumbling stone walls covered in ivy and brambles surround the newer houses and shops, giving you all the impression that this must have been a much larger and prosperous town in centuries past. The newer buildings are set alongside of the cart track, which widens into a muddy main street of sorts as it climbs towards a dilapidated stone keep and villa on a hillside bluff to the east of town. The north of town is home to a large fruit orchard that abuts a spacious town green that itself lies next to a main square with a townmaster's hall with a bell tower in it, some trade squares, a bustling relatively. There might be 50, 60 people visible going about their business at this point. There are children playing on that town green, town folks attending to chores and running errands at the shops. Most folks look at you as you approach, but look away quickly as they notice you catching them looking, which will lead to wisdom perception checks from everyone, please.
Is it because they know that we murdered Billy the Goblin?
Yeah, they're giving you the side eye. Deplorable perception checks all around, with the exception of Sariel. That 10, right, will get you that, you are used to people having an adverse reaction to you. Your undead demeanor, your gruff, your resting bitch face, the fact that you're always fingering your sword, right? There's a lot of shit that people find off-putting about you. But these people are far too timid even for you, right? Like, they're quick to avert their gaze, right? You catch them eyeing the sharpness of your weapons, right? The nature of your armaments, the strangeness of Sariel's garb, all of it. Too fearful. Sariel, this is your first settlement in the Sword Coast, right? And you're not entirely familiar with the traditions and customs of the people, but it strikes you as though the town guards are all far too heavily armed. Right, they seem to be identifying themselves with bits of red cloth, right? Some of them have it wrapped around their arms. Some of them are wearing red cloaks, right? Other ones have red bandanas around their heads. But, how much action could this frontier town possibly get? Do they need swords and chainmail and shields, right? Additionally, why doesn't everybody give me a wisdom insight check? Yeah, no, you have no perception onto that, which makes sense. Alestria failed it as well. Telesian and Rife with your 18 and 12. You can't help but notice, as timid as the town folks seem of you, they seem even more scared of their guards.
I lean in towards the group. Are they preparing for war here with all their armory and weapons?
They certainly seem as though they're preparing for something. And they're, I feel like there's, it almost feels like a little martial law has been enacted or something. These are either not their normal guards or something's up because the people aren't
Well,
comfortable.
Billy said that they had been raiding. Maybe that's part of it.
I mean, that could be, but goblins raid all the time, right? These guys seem armed for more than just like Cragmaw goblins. Is that a child
Sounds
screaming?
Oh, they're playing. They're in the green.
Oh,
Remember? Yeah.
you can never tell.
You can never
Townsfolk
tell.
afraid of the guards.
No,
It feels right at home to me.
Out of character, I live in the burbs, right? And 1 or 2 nights a week, there is a blood-curdling scream that I'm like, all right, is that child being ripped apart by jackals right now or enjoying themselves? I literally...
Right.
I cannot
You can't tell.
I cannot tell.
And
No,
we're so desensitized to it, we're just like, well, I hope they're okay. I guess if they start screaming help, I'll call something. But then they'll scream help,
scream
and it's
help
like,
too. They'll fucking scream help. Help
yeah.
me! Help me! Oh, I got.
And then they're like,
oh yeah, fuck children. No, we're on the same page, Rue. Yeah, we even did the same evil child laugh. No, it's
we
yeah.
did.
No, that's fine. They're precious or whatever. Thank you, Nerve Dance. They agree. But with that established, guys, Seldar says, "Ah, my friends, let us secure lodgings. I could use another drink." And it is clear now, from your glancing around, right, that there are several places that you could attend to, right? Predominantly, though, Barthen's Provisions, right, which is clearly labeled in common as a provisioner. They got a pickaxe and a little chest on the wooden side in front of their place, is immediately to your left on the muddy track as you head towards the town center, and the night is starting to grow late, indicating that you would have maybe 1 or 2 places to check in before you would have to find some lodging for the night, either inside or camping outside of town.
If you want, would somebody like to go find lodging? I can get the goods delivered here to Barthen and see if he's seen, anything from Gundren, but I doubt it. But we could at least offload the rest of this stuff. It looks like Sildar wants to go to the tavern.
I can go with Sildar. Make sure can we offload some of the other stuff that we've got, just kind of mucking up our bags?
I mean,
So-
yeah, I mean, we were carrying all of their stuff plus just the sack and the crate that we picked up for the other guys.
Well, I
If
thought we
you
had
guys
that.
wanted,
we-
you have treasure and stuff too. That
Yeah.
you definitely trade in at Barthen's Provisions. They're
okay.
also the general store in the region, it would seem.
Okay.
I'll take Sildar, and then maybe Sariel could go with you.
Oh, would you like to see how we do business? You can see if you want to become one of our number if you come with me.
Yes, sure.
All right, come along then.
I'll go
I
see what
keep
those
the
kids
cart.
are
Y'all
up
run
to.
along.
Rife, why don't you come with me and make sure that we get the right kind of lodging?
All right.
Did he say I want to see what those kids are up to?
Yeah. So listen, kids, we're gonna put a sack over your head, and then we're gonna sell you as an orphan. It's gonna be great.
I have a fun game to play. It's called Orphan Sold into Slavery. Get in the fucking bag.
Content
Yeah, I know.
warning. Content warning.
Right, you hit the 18 plus, I'm just saying. But, so what I'm hearing right now is that the kids are into it. You hear that? They want, yeah, orphan in the bag! But, what serendipitous soundtrack timing. But, so what I'm hearing you guys say right now is that you want to split the party.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So half the party is headed to Barthen's Provisions, and half the party is headed to the local inn. Excellent. We'll start with Barthen's Provisions, and since it's the one right there, Rife and Elestria head up the hill, down the hill further towards the town square to procure lodgings with Sildar Hallwinter, and Sariel and Talaesin are walking up the wooden steps to Barthen's Provision. Hewn out of logs, no windows, clearly a fresh building, only a few months old. You can still smell the pine tar, right, in the logs. I don't know if you've ever been around a fresh log cabin, but there's something about them that lingers for months after they've been cut, and this place certainly still has that odor. The dry earth packed in between the log beams still hasn't been worn down into a grout by the rain yet. I mean, obviously a fresh building. And as you make your way up the stairs, 2 of the town guards push open the door, spitting on the ground, and kind of leer at you both as they make their way past, hands on the hilt of their axe and sword, respectively.
I'd like to smile at them as I pass by, and I'd like to spit on the ground as well. Nice to meet you.
Serial, you're not from here, but give me a wisdom insight check with advantage.
Okay.
With a 19, for sure, there is no mistaking that the smiles they return have a lecherous edge that makes you uncomfortable and seems very unguard-like. As you enter Barthen's provisions.
I leer at both of them.
What's that?
Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Oh, I lean in towards you. Those people aren't very friendly here, are they?
Ah, no. They can tell we're new. But yeah, I just leer up at both of them. And I step over where they spat on the ground.
Right. I mean, clearly the appropriate response, given that, I mean, they're a bunch of skis bags, right? That's the...
Yeah, they don't scare me, and I don't let it show.
Right. Yeah, no, that's exactly... you're like, well, fuck you too, bud. What's up with that? I'm here on legitimate business. Why are you trying to make us uncomfortable, right? Definitely not what you want out of a town guard at any rate, right? But Barthen's is definitely the largest trading post in Phandalin, i.e. the only real trading post in Phandalin. It shall stock most of the ordinary goods you can find. He does, however, not have a license from the town council to sell weapon or armor outside of rudimentary hunting supplies. So you can find a basic bow and arrows here. You can get a hatchet, right? No swords, no armor, no military gear of any kind. That's not what Barthen's about. Elmer Barton is a lean and balding human male, middle-aged, right? That seems to be holding a cold compress up against a busted lip and a swollen eye. Perhaps the town guards were here dealing with whatever led to that sort of circumstance. He notices you guys and says, "Oh my, hello. Oh, I'm sorry. Give me a second. I'll be right ready." Trying to dab away his clearly oozing blood lip, right? And he says, I don't recognize you. How can I help you?
I'd like to lean in, and I'd like to tap the corner of his mouth where it was bleeding, and cast Cure.
Oh, it's like a 1 hit point wound. You could do it with your cantrip.
Little bonus action.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me do that. What was it again? Actions.
Oh hell. It's one of them.
It's like
My healing light.
Healing light. That's the name of it. Yeah. Excellent. And yeah, bloop, and it seals shut in his eye, kind of. The color returns to it. So he goes, "Oh well, thank you. That was very kind indeed. And what could I do for you?"
Oh, well, hi. My name is Cold Iron, and I was sent here with a wagon worth of goods by Gundren Rockseeker.
Oh, Gundren, excellent. Is he in town then?
Well, about that, it does seem like they might have been waylaid by some gobos, and we've heard that he's been taken out to Castle Cragmaw, potentially, but we'll deal with that later. We do have your goods for you.
There aren't any castles around here.
You know how
Who
goblins
took him?
are.
Was it the Red Brands?
The Red Brands.
Tell me more about these red brands.
Why, I shouldn't really speak on it too much, you see. They don't like it. Just, if you see people around here who are armed and wearing red, just do yourself a favor and give them distance. Don't cause any trouble, and they won't cause any trouble, but they're not the nicest of people.
I tilt my head to the side. Are they the ones that hurt you?
I really shouldn't say. I do thank you, but if it wasn't the Red Brands, then I shouldn't speak any more on it, I'm afraid.
Are the red brands those that are posing as your city guards at the moment?
You should talk to Harbin Wester, the town master. I can't get involved. I'm sorry. I hope you understand.
No, that's perfectly all right. where would you like me to offload the goods? We also have some other stuff that we picked up from another wagon
Wait,
in town.
You have a load of supplies, but not Gundren?
No, Gundren. No, he was traveling ahead of us, and as I said, seems to have been waylaid and taken captive somewhere.
Oh,
We're
no.
looking for him though, but we wanted to go ahead and empty our cart before anything got damaged. But we did find another cart that was ambushed on the road to town, and we've got some of the stuff from there as well.
Were Nunduro and Tharden with him?
Perhaps. I'm not real sure.
My understanding was that they were camping outside of town. I haven't seen them for nearly a 10-day now.
Okay. Well, we'll keep an eye. So you think they were camping outside of town? Well, we might be able to find somebody then.
They should be not too far outside of town. The cave of the Phandalin was what he had told me. But again, I can't get involved. I can't really. Oh my.
No, that's fine. Wouldn't dream of asking you.
But if you can find Nunduro and Tharden, I mean, they could certainly help you out. Oh.
Okay.
But
no,
if it
that's good
wasn't the Red
information.
Brands, it was who was it?
It was Cragmaw goblins.
Oh, goblins. We've been having problems with them recently, yes. And the town master seems to think it's the orcs in Werven Tor, but I know it's goblins. I can tell from their arrows. Orcs have much hardier craftsmanship.
For sure. You are not wrong. You are not wrong. Would you like us to just bring it in the front, or do you have a loading area in the back?
Oh, if you could pull the wagon around the side, I'm certainly. If it was the goods he had contracted, I believe there is a bag of 40 gold here for you. That I will add to your party inventory.
Much obliged.
And that is excellent. Say, if I were you, you seem like nice people, and I mean, I'm not trying to impugn upon your adventuring, because clearly you have defeated the goblins, but I would avoid the Sleeping Giant's tap house on the east side of town. It's where the unsavory element tends to congregate, and I would hate to see you come to violence.
You called it the Sleeping Giant tap house?
It's the Sleeping Giant tap house. That cat, though.
He just knocked down like 2 of my lights, so as soon as I'm not role-playing, I'll fix it. Oh no!
Oh,
Oh
goodness.
no!
We've lost our dungeon master. he
No,
failed his
wizard,
Constitution
no.
saving throw.
Much better when you don't inhale.
Sorry.
Beverage. I was unprepared for knocking down 2 of my lights, like literally. Oh man.
Yeah, I got a little darker in here on one side, so. But,
You get even more jazzed if you aspirate the Red Bull? We'll find out.
you do. It just right in through the sinus membranes.
But. Woo!
Well, I appreciate all that information, Elmer. I don't even know if you gave us your name, but I have a sense about those things.
Right.
Again, my name is Taliesin. If you need anything else, just let us know. But I'm, like I said, we also have some other goods that we can. I don't know if you want to trade them for additional
what do you mean,
payment.
Other goods?
I talk about the treasure. I don't remember the specifics of it.
The Lion Shield Coster stuff?
Oh yeah, and I
Or
thought
do you
there
mean
was something else too.
The whole Louis. Because we can trade
Yeah.
the whole Louis. I would be willing to give you 75% of the market value for all the treasure you have.
1 second, and I just kind of very quietly, as an aside to Sari, I'll go, sometimes you might haggle with folk, but he's a good man. I don't feel much like haggling with him today. So, 75% sounds great, Elmer. Thank you so much.
Now, Serial, you are, in fact, ludicrously charismatic. And additionally, also just with no, asking, healed old boy's face wounds from the beating he just received from who knows. So were you to give me a persuasion charisma, right, and bat your eyelashes, right, he might be, compelled to be. Well, did I say 75%? I mean, you are such nice people, in Friends of Gundren, But,
Okay.
yeah. And since you healed him, won't you give it to me with advantage? But I am looking for a DC 16 because this is a contract. This is somebody else's money he's paying, and he would be putting his own money in here as a show of gratitude.
Yep.
I smile at him, and I bat my eyelashes. 75%? That's it?
Blink, 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 blink. Oh. And not quite even
So
14
close.
will not do anything. I'm sorry, I'm not contracted, but if you come back later, I'll give you a discount on any general goods you would like to purchase.
That's very useful, Mr. Barton. I appreciate it, and I wink at Sariel, and thanks. I have another question for you, if you've got a moment.
Indeed.
Is there a representative or, some sort of emissary from the Lion's Head Coster out of Waterdeep? Is there any of that here?
Oh, yes, indeed. Miss Greywind, I believe, in the town square. They just they're finishing their branch office just now.
Oh, fantastic. In the town square. Wonderful.
Indeed.
Gundarin was traveling with a gentleman, and well, actually, you know what? I don't think it was from Gundarin. But anyway, we've came across some goods of theirs, and we'd like to return them.
Oh, I am sure they would be most grateful. We've been having problems with raids, just generally.
Yeah, we were ambushed on the road as well, but we made it all right and took care of ourselves. So,
Well, and these supplies as well. Like I said, if there's anything Barthans can do for you in the future, please let us know.
Could I look around the shop?
Yeah.
Like,
There's... Go ahead.
I'd like to specifically look for maybe something to eat, some type of food. Would it be available here in the shop?
Yeah, trail rations are available here in the shop, which are unappealing, generally. You're a hardtack, salt meat, dry cheeses, the kind of stuff that would stick with you for days without going off. No real culinary delights in this particular locale, both due to the nature of the shop. I mean, it's just like an old-timey general goods store, and due to its remoteness, right? Like, if you were in a general store in Waterdeep or Neverwinter or something, right, you would be much more likely to come across a bunch of exotic cooking ingredients.
Okay.
But he does mention that Gladys Greywind runs the Lion's
Gladys
Shield
Greywind.
Coster. And
Okay.
would be, she's a surly old woman, but would probably be most relieved to see that her provisions were, in town. He hadn't kept abreast of the situation, but he knows she was expecting a shipment over a week ago now. 10
Okay.
days, excuse me. Yeah.
Just out of character clarification to make sure that
Yeah.
I understood. Avoid the Sleeping Giant Tap House because of a red brand presence?
Yes.
Presence?
Mhm.
Okay, that's what I thought. Mr. Barton, before we go, do you, and I'll say this as,
Oh, you
before
can
I
call
head
me
out.
Elmer. We're friends now.
Oh, thank you. Well, you can call me Talason. Where would you recommend we might, rest over for the night?
Well, I suppose that depends very much on your personality. There's the Kicking Donkey Inn, but it's a little too rambunctious for my tastes. Outside of that, you could try the Alderleaf Farm. My understanding is that Quilleen is quite nice to travelers and lets them stay in her barn, which is human-sized.
That sounds lovely. And it sounds like maybe there's a place to stable our horses.
Oh, yes, certainly. I mean, you can tie them up out front, or the Kicking Donkey has a stable attached, as most modern taverns do.
I really appreciate your help, and thanks for the word, and don't worry, anything you said that might be sensitive won't fall on sensitive ears, as it were.
And I appreciate your discretion.
I'll just, while my friend looks around a little bit, if you, I'll just pull the wagon around the side. I'll be right back.
Excellent. And it occurred to me, I could probably share the, Phandalin map with you guys. I guess. If I have to. So you guys coming from the north there off the Tribor Trail, coming down. Barthen's Provisions, Shrine of Luck, Kicking Donkey Inn is where we are headed next. Kicking Donkey Inn is just off the town square. And in the center of town stands a large newly built roadhouse of fieldstone and rough-hewn timbers. The exterior has been painted tar black with a bright red trim. The sign out front has been rigged with an ingenious series of gears and pulleys to make the wooden donkey kick over a wooden mug of ale over and over again on an endless loop. As you enter, your senses are assaulted by the cacophony of sensory overload. The air is rich with a thick melange of dozens of foreign spices, all competing for dominance in the haze. The walls of the common room are adorned with bric-a-brac from all over the Sword Coast, and the dim firelight is drowned out by the garish magic signs that go colorfully on every kitsch-free spot on the wall. One of them proclaims Angry Azimuth Ale. I'd tap that. There's another one that says Dwarf Bit Stout. If you're chewing, it's the bits. The place is far more... Yeah, that's right. If you're chewing, it's the bits. On the far wall, a giant tank of water... Oh, excuse me, I skipped a whole paragraph. What am I doing here? The place is far more crowded than you'd have expected. The muted tones of the patrons quietly drinking, standing in stark contrast to the carnival spectacle of the decor. On the far wall, a giant tank of water takes the lion's share of space. It appears to have been filled and then enchanted as a scrying pool. It is currently attuned to a game of goat ball, and it is not looking good for the Waterhavian warlocks. Standing below the big screen scrying pool is a plump halfling with spiky blonde hair. He's wearing a black silk shirt adorned with red flames, and is absent-mindedly polishing a mug and watching the game. He appears to be the proprietor of the Kicking Donkey, from the way that the waitstaff kind of circle around him and ask after him.
And this is
Right.
where Rife and everybody
And
is, right?
Alestria, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Sildar just walks up to the bar and starts negotiating, right? He holds up his shield, points to it, haggles with the proprietor, sets it onto the bar. Proprietor shrugs, takes the shield, sets it on the far side of the bar, and hands him a bottle, which he immediately begins to upend into drinks, paying you guys no mind whatsoever.
I will. Is there an open table?
There's no open spots at the bar, no open table that wouldn't be accompanied by a random patron. In stark contrast to the rest of the town there, nobody in here seems to be paying you any mind at all. This is a place where they're used to weird shit, clearly.
I will saddle up to the bar, and look at the barkeep and say, could I get something dwarven?
The barkeep looks exasperated at you and says you clearly don't understand where you are. Welcome to the Kicking Donkey Inn, the most bodacious inn in all of the Sword Coast. And with that, the spiky-haired halfling turns around and he goes, not like that at all! And he slides over to you and says, welcome to the Kicking Donkey Inn, the most bodacious establishment on the whole of the Sword Coast. What can I get you today? Like that.
Something dwarven. An ale,
I'm afraid
perhaps.
we don't have anything dwarven. Tonight's specials are gelatinous cube jigglers and power word drunk.
What about the bits? There's a drink
Oh.
with bits?
It's the sign, it's out of season. But I can assure you that power word drunk will do the job. Or my name isn't Guy Ferry.
I'm sorry, your name is what?
It's Guy Ferry. Could I get you a menu, partner? Maybe if you didn't like one of our drinks, you'd like one of our slammin' specials.
Yes, please.
He slides you a menu that contains such wonderful sounding dishes as Lion Darla Skillet Slatherins Tri-Tip Onion Screamers. Lion Darla. She probably, skillet slathering.
I kind of want that now. Actually, I'm gonna order one of those.
What about Mordenkainen's man-killing mutton chop slathered in a coney berry zinger compote?
No, I will stick with the tri-tip onion whatever.
You've got to try the Tipsy Teriyaki Tiamat Tenders.
I'm good with the tri-tip. I'm good with the tri-tip.
What about Mama Fairy's melt-in-your-mouth mimic steaks? They literally do. Because it's mimic,
I'm gonna stand up at the bar and look at Rife and say, do you think there's somewhere else we could go drink then?
Doesn't matter to me, but Silder here, I clap him on the shoulder. Don't want to interrupt your drinking, but I think you mentioned something about payment.
Indeed. Tomorrow I'll go to the town hall. I'll have them send a wet raven to Waterdeep. We'll get it all situated. I'll pay each of you 10 gold for getting me here. Tonight, I drink. And also, why don't you get me an order of the backwards XXX smothered creamy orc nuggets? Those are awesome! Are you sure I can't get you guys some 2 gold Gary's braised beholder stocks and a honey kit port scooter wrap?
I'm pretty sure all those words are common, but I'm not sure that they make any sense.
What about Lord Daggle, Neverember, Thrice Doused, Hell Braves, and Bull Scraps?
Yeah, Rife, let's we'll head over to there's gotta be another bar in town, right?
No, but the table has kind of cleared up, right? He's just sitting there enthusiastically standing on a stool, just gibberish recipeing, What about Itchy Rodney spanking hot Mount Howdenau sausage snaps?
Yeah, I'll gently lead Rife over to the table and sit down.
You've got to try the Salt Mart Bastard Extra Sweet Chicken Shooters.
All right. So, what do you think of Sariel?
She's got an awesome spear, and do you see the way she was gonna take out? I can't. Was it Bucky?
Billy.
Billy. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, that was brilliant. I think she's gonna be a great member of the team. Got that killer instinct.
You're not concerned about where she came from?
I have no freaking idea where she came from. Man, that spear is just awesome.
Do you get this excited about every weapon that you see?
When it's dark and black and looks like it could just suck someone's soul out. Oh, it reminds me of the good old days.
Well, so this is just it has the word inn in the title. Does this place actually have rooms to sleep in as well?
It does appear to have 6 rooms. Yes, that would be available. And it's not too long before one of the wait staff brings you over a couple of shot glasses filled with little tiny gelatinous cubes that are trying to escape it, right? Each one that appears to have like a slowly digested worm on the inside of it that's being dissolved and fizzling, adding a certain effervescence to the shooter drink, right? And in addition to that, it appears as though that Sildar has procured you all lodging and an order of Cirolali Cedar Plank Third Circle of Hell bacon-wrapped clam pots.
I'm gonna turn to the person. Is there anyone next to us or near us at a nearby table?
Yeah, the place is packed. There are little circle tables everywhere, Everybody's trying to mind their own business. They're pretty used
I'll just look at
proprietor.
I'll just look at someone to the right of me, and I'm gonna say, "Hey, you!" And then I point back at Alestria. She can drink you under the table. I got a gold on it.
I just shrug, and then look at the shot. Shrug again and just shoot it.
So I mean, it's clearly a little piece of gelatinous cube that they dunked in alcohol and then put a little larva in to make it fizzle. I mean, we all know what gelatinous cubes do. I mean, they're acidic, right? It burns all the way down, right?
Spicy.
But for once, it's the person consuming the gelatinous cube as opposed to the gelatinous cube consuming the person, right? So you do get a little mild buzzing off of it. Makes your stomach feel super warm, right? A little hiccup. Not a terrible drink, all things considered, if you can get past the fact that it tries to climb back out your throat.
How does the bar patron react?
Oh, to you taking the shot? I mean, they give you the eyebrow. I mean, so don't get me wrong. I mean, they drink the beer, but the gelatinous cube jigglers, you know, that's a bridge too far, isn't it? You know, it's like a Klingon blood wine or something. You know, you just whoa now, hey, let's park the bikes and walk on that one maybe. But again, not a terrible drink, all things considered.
I'll push the other one over to you, the other shot glass.
Yeah, this one is tipped over, and the gelatinous cube is like pulling the shot glass along the table away from you in little tiny,
like a crab?
Yeah, kinda, yeah.
I will scoop it up quickly and toss it right in my mouth.
I mean, pretty easy given the fact that it's drunk as shit. You know, I mean, they doused it in alcohol to make it a beverage, right? It's like a far worse Jello shot somehow, and I don't find Jello shots that pleasant to begin with. So, I mean, there's that, right? But with that established, I think it has probably been enough time for Sariel and Rue to have made their way to I mean, again, the Kicking Gonking Inn. Hard to miss. Most well-lit establishment. Black lights, red trim. Donkey constantly kicking over the mug of ale on the wooden sign out front in a loop, right? Assaulting the senses with a variety of foreign spices, the likes of which you have never smelled. People clearly enjoying themselves, with the exception of Rife standing there scowling. And Alestria, who is going to have to give me a constitution save. I mean, if you're going to knock back both of those, that's two gelatinous cube jigglers. That's just a 10, though, on the DC.
Oh, like
Ooh.
Really? Like really?
Yeah, no, I mean,
It's
I
like
said
the
a
good
10.
save.
Yeah, no, and that's a +4 on that, and that was a 2, so that's a 6 total, which you'll note isn't a 10.
Nope.
You're like front row of a Leonard Skinner concert, just hammer drunk. I mean, you're like,
We have had very-
you want to see me dance? Like, no! I feel the music's just getting me going, you know?
You know, I actually saw Leonard Skinner in Louisiana, like the current Leonard Skinner, and so many middle-aged men in Dockers shorts and polos dancing just like that in the first the first several rows.
Just way too drunk, yeah.
Not dissing it, but yeah, that's exactly what happened.
So that's true. I don't know. I mean, maybe since you asked for something dwarven, they give you the ones that have been soaked in the good stuff. But for just 2 of them, you certainly, I mean, the room's starting to spin a little. Some of these recipes are starting to sound way better. I mean, what the hell's a clam paw anyway? I wonder if I smash it together with the orc nuggets, if I'll have a clam orc nugget, you know? Like, you know, you ever been drunk where you all of a sudden you start coming up with brilliant food ideas that you then think about the next day, and you're like, why did I put pickles on that ice cream sandwich?
I don't know that I've ever not been that drunk. Like,
right, well, there you go.
every time I get drunk, it's like, you know, it sounds great together. Nothing.
Let's get
Everything.
7 cheeseburgers and a stack and have me take 2 bites of it before I pass out. Wake up with it 4 hours later on my chest and finish eating. Yeah. No, yeah, you're drunk. You come in, I mean, she's like...
Well, this place wasn't hard to find. It's got a nice sign outside. It is not loud.
Taliesin.
What? Oh, Jesus Christ.
You've got listen. You've got to try these gelatinous cube shot.
You've
things.
got me invoking gods that aren't even in this pantheon. What the hell are you doing?
Listen, you've got to try them. Bartender,
You know,
2 more.
I bring my own ale.
Could I try them? I'd like to try them.
A little
Okay.
tiny, spiky blonde haircut comes sliding just above the
No.
tabletop and says, "Of course you can try them, but for you, lady, I'd recommend power word drunk, right?"
No,
and
no,
he
listen,
slams down
listen.
like 3/4 of a coconut shell that seems to be dry ice bubbling all over the place.
Ooh.
I'd tell you what was in it, but the wizard that brewed it for me swore me to secrecy.
I've heard
Is
about
it
his
good?
drinks and his food here. I need 2 dishes of orc nuggets.
Ah, the creamy orc nuggets. They make their own gravy. 2 orc nuggets.
I would like to grab that fizzy-looking, awesome drink, and I'd like to take a. I bring it up, and I like to smell it.
Wait, he says, and he pulls out a little tiny paper umbrella. Bloop. There you go. Now it's righteous.
Oh, thank you. What does it smell like?
Fruity, sugar. It smells, boy, sugar. I mean, if you could take sugar
Oh, that smells
and you
great.
could melt it down in more sugar, right?
Don't
I'd like to
swallow the
drink it.
umbrella.
Change colors. It's not good. No.
I'd like to take a drink of it.
Very pleasant. You go to exhale and you do the dry ice thing out your nose. He's like, that's how you
Ooh.
know it's working. That and the fact that you're about to be shit-faced. And I'm gonna need a Constitution save. This one is magic. It's literally a power word drunk. It's a...
Is that the right one?
That
It
is.
sure
I was
is.
also looking
It
for
is,
a
and it
10.
not good at all.
So, that 7, we'll note, is 3 less than 10, meaning that, I mean, it leaves you exhale through your nostrils, and boy, you're a little dizzy, feeling a little fuzzy, your cheeks feel warm, right? Your face is a little rubbery, right? It's, everything's a little funnier, right?
I'd like to twirl around, and as I twirl around, I'd like to just kind of do a sprinkling motion with my hand, and I'd like to cast little, tiny little explosions.
You're gonna make little
Like
drunk
little fireworks?
Yeah.
I mean, would not be out of place in here. Let's go ahead. Ooh, what do I want for that? I mean, I kind of want something to make it fail, because you're drunk. Why don't you just give me charisma, but at disadvantage? You're a charisma spellcaster. Charisma save, disadvantage. Let's see if you make little tiny fireworks, or if you drunkenly make something else. And a 16 is going, yeah, a little pop, pop, pop. You're doing the Jubilee thing, which is funny because that's my niece's name. And so my brother married a Japanese gal. This happened in real life. This is in D&D, right? And then was trying to pick names of X-Men characters for them, right? But she knew most of them, right? But she didn't know Jubilee, right? And Jubilee also means celebration. So he's like, what if we name her Jubilee? Because it'll be a celebration. Tycho, my sister-in-law, thought it was a great idea. Boom, my niece is named after an X-Men. There we go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I know a guy who named his son Kal-El.
Kal-El. Well, I mean, you know, obviously.
And
a cooler
she,
one.
the mom, I don't think knew.
Oh,
he
what?
snuck it in.
I mean, Kal-El is a
Oh.
pretty fucking big ass there. I mean, it's just another way to spell Kyle. Yeah, no, that's rough.
I also know somebody who named their son Kal-El.
Yeah, and it's just
Wow.
Cal.
Ex-boyfriend.
My cousin
Oh,
is
you dodged
married
a bullet, yo.
My cousin married a guy named Jagger Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi being his middle name. It's all one word.
I could have done without that.
Yeah.
Knowledge, generally.
There you go.
Serial, Alestria, these drinks clearly work. Sildar is also clearly working through most of that bottle already. I mean, he is clearly here to get drunk and pass the fuck out. He has 1 gold tonight. And he is well on his way. As after about a half hour in the place, he stands up blearily, kind of salutes to you all with his right hand, and marches up the stairs to the room. There are
Right,
6 rooms in the establishment, and he has gotten 2 more rooms. So split them up however you deem fit.
Well, Alistria and Sariel seem to be enjoying the drinks. Rife's going to be going around the tables and saying to people, "Hey, who wants to see one of these ladies take their top off?" And he holds out his hand like if anyone wants to give him some coin.
Holy crap, Rife! I've never seen you this outfit.
He's ready for it. Hey, we're in a town now. Let's fucking get buck wild. No, I mean, of course, why don't you give me a charisma roll at a disadvantage, Rife?
Okay. Is this persuasion then?
Yeah. I'm looking for an 18.
Okay, well.
That is, nobody is interested in that proposition, even remotely. None of the other townsfolk. In fact, as they take note of you, they go back to what you expect them to be doing and being like, oh my fucking god. Like, have you ever been in one of those establishments, right, and somebody's making a scene, and you just want to finish your meal, right? You don't want a problem, so you're just gonna, like,
He's just like my Uncle Polearm.
Oh, yeah? What was your Uncle
He
Polearm
just-
like?
Oh, just that. I mean, he's constantly like, maybe if your top was white and somebody spilled something on it, maybe it'd be a good show for the rest of us. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, darling. Why don't you come and sit on my little dwarf lap? No, he's what we call a pervert down in the hold.
I'd like to look for an empty seat next to somebody that's eating some food.
Like, just a random somebody? Yeah, there are plenty
Yeah,
of spots
anybody.
where there are only 3 people at a table.
right,
Somebody is clearly, they've got a 3-pronged fork, right, and they have stabbed one of Itchy Rodney's spanking hot Mount Hodenhoff sausage snaps on their fork, right next to their pile of mash, and they have it in the air.
I'd like to plop down and take a bite out of it.
Yeah, just plop down, take a bite. Boy, your charisma is amazing, and that is a great thing, right? Because I'm going to need a charisma saving throw from you right now. This person's like, what the fuck? Oh, never mind. Yeah, you want the whole thing? Potentially. Oh, yeah. No, a 19's
That's
gonna
fine.
do it.
Oh, that
Yeah,
was
no.
delicious.
You guys, so I don't know if you've ever wingmanned a lady at the bar, right? But she's drunk, she's taking a bite of this guy's sausage, and he kind of puts his arm around her, and he's like, you can have all the sausage you want, lady. And, I'm not sure she's picking up on anything but the fact that the sausage is quite spicy and delicious, unlike anything you have ever had. Well, no, that's not true, because we discussed, isn't the food from your realm all peculiarly spicy? Wasn't
Yes.
that a defining feature of the Selenoran cuisine? So yeah, it kind of reminds you of home, if anything, not spicy enough, but decent, like a red hot link,
I'm gonna walk over to the guy and with my hand like ostensibly on my sword hilt say, "She's my sister."
Oh yeah, why don't you go ahead and give me an intimidation with advantage?
Okay.
Old boy has no sword hilt to put his hand upon. He is in fact wearing a tunic and just trying to eat his sausages when Pretty Lady sat down next to him, and he was like, "Yeah, I have my sausage." Yeah, drop
I'm actually-
for 13.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
gonna actually use my knowledge from the past because I, used to be like a kind of a ruffian, so I can add a D6 to that roll.
Yes, your racial.
No.
Oh wow, a 1 for a 14.
Yeah.
He says, "Excuse me, bud. The lady sat down of her own volition. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm having a conversation with your sister here." And we'll
Right,
turn
he said
around,
I could
kinda
have as much
dismissing
as I
you.
want.
I
He
look
said I
over
could
to
have as
Laius
many
and
sausages.
I look at Laius and, well, I did what I could.
I got this.
Oh Jesus!
I will.
At this point, I'm just watching. I was gonna do something, but I'm just gonna let the drunks go for it. I'm sipping my own cask.
So Alistria walks over and like puts her both palms on the table and just leans in and looks at the guy and says,
Yeah.
and says, "Listen, bud, she fell out of the sky and we don't quite know what happened. I'd be careful. Like, I was fine, and she came around and I vomited bees all over somebody. So you should
All
be
I'm
careful
saying,
too."
bro, is that she seems to have fallen out of the sky again here. So unless you want to join us, you know,
Oh.
I got some sausage to be feeding.
Did you just call my elf lady friend a bro?
Did you wait? No.
As in the like colloquial bra, you know, like that douchebag bra.
You want me to?
Colloquial
Gender-
this.
It's genderless.
Oh no! Magic highball.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Sariel gets it.
Rusty coming in, he's like, all right, this bro's hitting on my wife, cereal highball. Just so you know, it's not always beneficial. Yeah, the very first skill challenge has literally been liquor handling, and everybody that's attempted it has failed it. Bra is non-gendered. It's even like a lady garment, so of course it's
I'd like to
non-gendered
argue
bra.
that if you get drunk, you're actually handling it well.
I mean, potentially, yeah. All right, here we go. Wild magic table, focused on Sariel. You regain your lowest level expended cell slot, so nothing. Poof. You're like,
That's-
woo, I'm gonna party.
So I will look him in the eye and say, "You want me to join the party too?"
I mean, the more the merrier, right? They got 6 rooms. We would only need the 1.
And then I headbutt him.
Yeah, no, that's 100% appropriate. Yeah. All right, let me get. So they literally say in here, there's no reason for them to combat the townsfolk, so we haven't given them stats. But then they say use the commoner stat block, you know, because they anticipate, you know, that everybody's gonna murder Hobo. But we haven't named this guy, so you know, if he gets headbutted for being presumptive. But now, can we park the bikes and walk here? He is being douchey. Right, but Drunk Grouse sat down next to him and immediately started eating his sausage in a flirty manner. Like, is he that in the wrong? I mean,
And
gross,
she seems
but-
content to sit there and be leered upon.
I'm
Right.
not saying I'm in the right. I'm
Right,
just
right,
saying I'm
but you're
doing the
headbutting.
headbutt.
Well, you're a barbarian, so you're gonna headbutt him.
Can
Yeah, of
I
course,
interrupt the headbutt and just grab like the back of her tunic and pull her back?
Ooh.
You probably grab like as I pull
Like your
back, just
braid?
grab.
I just
You
grab
know
your
my
hair.
before I go forward.
Opposing dex checks while I get this commoner pulled up. Let's see if you can stop Alestria, because I mean you've been
There you
around.
go.
I mean you might not have been.
I got it.
Oh yeah, Alestria with the 11 goes in for the head, but
Stria, love. It's not worth it. Let's just go sit down. You've had too many gelatinous cubes tonight.
were you
I can
about
smell
to
it on your
headbutt
breath.
me,
I'm gonna look at
bro?
him and say, "That could have been your face," and then walk over and sit down.
Your face.
More sausages!
And with that, a spiky haircut comes sliding by, right, and slides you a platter of, you know, a mash and, you know, the Mount Hotno sausage snaps, right? And you have your own plate of sausages now, certainly. Are we still going to, be trying to assault Commoner Douchebag? Because I do have your stat block now.
No,
I'm enjoying my sausages.
yeah.
Right,
So
yeah.
here's the deal. I'm just gonna sit down across from commoner douchebag.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Mr. Douchebag or just commoner? What would you prefer I call you?
Kyle, my dad owns a horse dealership.
Good to know. So, here's the deal. You're gonna let the lady continue to eat your sausage snaps. Just those sausage snaps, mind you. And when she's ready to leave, she's gonna leave, and you don't get to go with her.
Well, I think that's up for her to decide.
She has, I promise. She decided before she took the drink.
Oh man, yeah, actually, now you mention it, she might be too intoxicated to consent, and that would be rude of me. That's my bad, he says.
You know what? I knew you had a good heart somewhere in there, Kyle.
I mean, I might be a douchebag, but I'm not a rapist.
News to me. I didn't know there was a difference. So, I'm just gonna have Mr. Fairy here get you a monster, and you'll be on your way.
I don't want to be consumed by anything. I'll just go.
Sounds wonderful. And then
I
he's
hold
taken out by a Red Bull, like a literal Red Bull
Yeah,
just
Red Bull
charges over him
Just come.
as he steps outside like a bus.
I take up my fork and I stab a sausage and I hand it over to Layson. Do you want some sausages?
Sure, I'm still waiting on our orc nuggets, but yeah, a sausage would be great. Yeah, so I eat some sausage snaps and mash.
Right, and the unidentifiable chunks of meat in a white gravy. comes sliding across the table as a spiky blonde hair goes running past.
You know, that little guy is irritating as hell, but he works hard.
Oh yeah, he runs the shit out of this restaurant for sure. Yeah, no.
He makes
You know,
some
his
good
persona's
sauce.
a little grating, but you know.
You know.
In fact, you guys eat and enjoy some of the non-alcoholic beverages. The crowd starts to dwindle a little, right? The hour starts to grow late. And the little spiky hair blonde dude, you know, D. Fairy, has a little more downtime, right? Kind of sidles up next to the table, a little less aggressively, but still totally in character.
So
So
is
what brings
he
you guys to Phandalin?
real quick though? Is he a legit fairy or is he just like
No,
a
he's
He's
gnome?
a halfling.
A halfling. Okay, I
Halfling.
must have missed that.
His name is Fairy. His last name is
D.
Fairy.
D. Fairy, and it's Ferry. Like the riverboat fairy, as opposed to the
Yep.
the mystical one. No relation.
No worries. Did we
So
get
what
room
brings you
keys?
people to Phandalin? The doors don't lock from the outside.
Good to know. We were actually just delivering some goods over to Barthen's.
Nice.
He
Barthen's
recommended
is a
this place.
Well, I recommend Barthen's for all of your non-weapon needs.
We look like the sort that needs weapons,
Gee,
as we
Not
have weapons
really.
on.
Gee,
Given the
Miss.
fact that
Go ahead, Gee.
well, I would rather not talk over my patrons.
So, Gee, what can you tell me about these like town guard? They seem a little intense.
They
Are they
are
hiring?
not, in fact, town guards, bruh, and I imagine that they would be looking for somebody of your particular disposition.
What do you mean?
Well, they're kinda assholes. And no offense, mister, but you put off a certain kind of vibe.
I'm a man.
I was speaking of the
Talking to
clearly
Rife.
dead one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was gonna tell y'all, those aren't the guards, I don't think. Sounds
no,
like
in
it's
fact,
something
they
else.
are not. They are a local bandit troop.
Yeah.
Why'd you hire them to guard the town?
They didn't, Rife. They just took over.
They moved
Oh.
in about a month ago, actually.
Who's
Probably
there?
selling themselves as protection against the goblin raids that I've been hearing about.
In fact, they have been. The only reason I'm open is because I give them 10% of my cake. Bummer.
Could I have 10% of your cake?
Take the... Somebody explain money to the drunk girl.
We will, but she's probably literally. Do you have cake? Do you?
We do have honey cakes, yeah.
Could you put like a pickle and some mustard on that and bring one out?
Nope. Don't do that. Just bring the honey cakes.
No, but listen, because the
Oh.
mustard.
I've heard it. You've told me before. It
So-
didn't work out the last time. It's not going to work out here.
So, who's leading these red brands?
Brands.
I'm not entirely sure, but he goes by Glassstaff. Nobody outside of the Red Brands has seen him, but judging from his name, I'm pretty sure he uses magic.
He sounds like a big edgelord. Oh, call me Glassstaff.
I know they've shaken down just about every business in town, with the exception of the Lion Shield Costers. Gladys does not put up with that.
Ooh, good to know.
So I'm sure that if we helped the town get rid of them, they would be quite thankful. I'm just gonna
That's a tough
preempt
sell,
Rife.
amigo. I mean, some people would be totes thankful. But Harbin himself, the town master, he seems to think it's better not to make waves.
Oh, is that Mr. Harbin Wester?
Ah,
I'll be, he's on my list to talk to tomorrow. I understand not wanting to make waves when you're outnumbered, but, and not really geared for fighting, but we like to make waves, as it were.
I could see now, speaking strictly on the down low, right? I would be totes thankful myself if you were to do something about those red brands. That being said, I've got a little one and a wife to think of, in addition to the kicking donkey. If little guy, if something happened to him, Mrs. Fairy would be totes upset.
I'll be honest, I'll do my, and the rest of them, we'll all do our best to make sure that the little one and your missus won't come to any harm. But we don't like bullies.
So,
Seems like there are a big lot of bullies.
I'm gonna actually need your word there, sis. They killed Thou Dendar the other day because they were leering at his wife, and he was like, "That's a no-go, bud." So they stuck him like a pig and they hung him up in the town square until we went out after dark and cut him down. And then his wife and child disappeared a few days later. They mean serious business.
These people sound awful.
Yeah.
We don't even have a woodcutter now, bruh.
Well, that seemed to sober up my compatriots.
Yeah, I don't think we would ever connect you with any of this. This conversation isn't happening at all.
Never happened.
That would be most appreciated.
Does that mean
If
I'm
you-
not getting the cake?
Oh, you can totally get cake. But before that, if you guys are serious about doing something about the red brands, right, I would talk to Darren Edomath at the Edomath Orchard. He used to be a warrior of sorts, and he probably has the lay of things. Also, Gladys at the Lion Shield Coaster, she's about the only person that hasn't given over to him yet. She's a tough old bat. So maybe if you touch base with her as well, she could give you a lead on some information.
She's already on my list, folks. But yeah. I appreciate the help.
But again, I hope you enjoyed the orc nuggets. And remember, come back to the Kickin' Donkey for the most bodacious tavern on the Sword Coast. And he slides away, a little spiky blonde hair flitting in between the now empty table.
So I'll lean in and I'll say, like, in a low tone, "So, are we on the same page? We find this glass staff, take him out, and then we're the leaders of the red brands?"
No, we are not on the same page at all.
I don't even know if we're in the same book. I mean, you were in that book that you got strapped to your arm.
I mean, I was following along for a second there. Find the glass staff, take him out. I'm good with those parts. That's where we went different directions.
Sariel lays her head down on the table. I lay my head down on the table, and I say in a sad voice, I don't think I'm getting my cake.
Oh no, I mean, it's a minute later, and a little yellowed honeyed cake comes sliding past the table as again the spiky blonde hair runs past with a mop. Careful, right?
Thank
with
you.
the mop. Yeah, no, it's light, buttery, delicious, clearly honeyed, little almond slivers, you know. Dude knows a fancy restaurant. I don't know what he would call it, probably
Bistro.
sticky, icky, volcano honey bomb cake, you know. There you go, boom. You guys
Sticky,
have no,
icky
so,
volcano bum cake.
I want you guys to know that I spent literally 2 hours yesterday morning making up Sword Coast Guy Fieri recipes, and then wasn't satisfied with my own list, so then went and crowdsourced some from the Discord as well, right? Because I needed both of the beverages, by the way, the gelatinous cube jigglers and Power Word drunk were crowdsourced. Fucking brilliant. There's nothing better than a gelatinous cube jiggler. I mean, join the
True.
Discord, give me amazing ideas, because that was amazing. Thank you, Gumbus McBumbus, for that one in particular. But, alright, are we going to retire for the evening? The hour has grown late. People
I
are
do
drunk
believe
and
we need to
full.
retire.
I also think that we might want to set watches for the night. Just somebody to keep an eye out on the hallway in case I don't trust the red brands.
I think
Well-
Rife and I should go first because we're not drunk.
That's
Yeah.
a very solid point.
Well, and, not to be that guy, but two of you people literally, I mean, one of you meditates for 4 hours and one of you just kind of stares off in the distance for 4 hours, right? Like, you guys
Yeah.
can all get... The cool thing about this party arrangement is that if you split into 2 watches, if it's just Alestria and Rife every night, everybody gets a full night's sleep.
Yeah.
That's true.
Which isn't normally how it works. You gotta break it up, somebody's rolling, like... But fantastic,
Yeah, no.
yeah. So, I'm assuming you're splitting the watch right first, Alestria second, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect. No
That works
issues
for me.
throughout the night. Quiet evening, everything's great. In the morning, the place is still fairly deserted. There's some kind of porridge going in a communal pot. You're just meant to take a wooden bowl, ladle yourself out. Old style, tavern eating. They used to have pots of pottage on, they called it, in medieval times, where it would just simmer and simmer and simmer and simmer for days on end, and they would add more to it, right? And you would just take a bowl of it. It would have any number of things in it, eggs and grains and milk and sugar, this and that. But yeah, bowls of porridge, quiet establishment. Guy Fairy is there, clearly washing dishes, wearing like a night outfit. His hair isn't spiked up yet, just kind of laying about in bleached blonde tips about his halfling face. He seems no less enthusiastic than before, but clearly not quite yet into character, right?
So, Talason, he mentioned Gladys Greywind as the head of the Lion's Head Costers.
Yeah, I got her name earlier. It sounds like the Red Brands kind of leave them to their business, but she's got a place in Town Square that they're just finishing up building.
Well, she's the one that we need to talk to about the stuff we found, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. Maybe we should start off with her.
That's fine. Harbin's gonna have some information as the mayor, but it sounds like he's been cowed pretty good by these bandits, so he may have more information on how they're running things around here, but I think she's gonna be able to at least get us some more information about the Costers and probably be able to go and clear out that cave back there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's get over to her after we eat this slop.
It's actually, it's
not
great,
bad.
but it's not unpleasant. It's neutral, is what it is. For most of human history, the morning meal was incredibly neutral grain paste.
Well, but I'm
And
an
that's
elf.
what this is. Yeah, you probably hate the shit out of it. Yeah, it needs, more leaves and nonsense. Excuse me, where are the twigs? Yeah, no.
Yeah, exactly.
Wood elf recipe. Can I get some serving bark? What are we, savages? Yeah, no, exactly. But, so we're making our way then collectively to the Lion Shield Costers. In addition to that, there appears, so what do we got here in town? There's the farms to the south, there's the orchard to the north, there's a miners' exchange. It does seem like the main industry in here is people trading in valuable minerals they've gotten from the hills around in little tiny steads. In fact, now that you think on it, it seems likely that those stone markers you saw without the farms being developed were less likely, in fact, to be marking, future homesteads and more likely to be marking out mining claims, right? Rich minerals in the area, several caves and crags, right, near the Sword Mountains. So yes, the mining exchange, the Lion Shield Coster, the Edermath Orchard to the north. There's a Shrine of Luck, typical for adventurers to visit. And then, of course, the Sleeping Giant Inn and the dilapidated Trisander Manor on the cliff bluff to the east of town.
Oh, yeah. So, is what I learned last night. I didn't really get a chance to talk to y'all when you weren't sober for the rest of the evening. But, so, we need to talk, we agree we need to talk to Gladys. Shit, what was I gonna say? I lost it. Oh well. We have other places we can go to. We can go talk to the guy at the orchard. Oh, I know what it was. Apparently, Gundren's brothers were camping outside of town. Something about going after the with the Phandelver pack. That's probably something we need to look at as well. Gundren is still my primary motivation here. We need to find him. And, but I do think going to Gladys Greywind is our first thing, but we could go out of town and look for Gundren's brothers. See see if they have any information.
Well, and especially if we're going to take on these red brands, having a couple extra hands wouldn't be hurtful.
I agree, and if I remember correctly what Mr. Ferry said last night, the Orchard Man is an old fighter.
Good thinking about Gundar, and he owes us money. And speaking of owing us money, Sildar said he's going to pay us. We got to talk to him too.
In fact, almost as if on cue, Sildar comes down the stairs from the upstairs room. His hair is managed, his outfit is somewhat clean. The bandages that wrap his left hand aren't soaked and filthy anymore. He shaved his face, and for just a moment, you can almost catch a glimpse of like a respectable knight, you know, kind of that stately figure, right before the illusion crumbles as he grows closer, right? He wanders over to the bar, right, and exchanges some words with the lady behind, reaches onto his bandaged hand, pulls off a ring, slaps it on the counter, right, and she pulls a bottle off from the bar and hands it to him, which he uncorks, takes a pull off of, barely winces and turns around and says, "I'm going to town hall to get things sorted out. Meet me there." And leaves the establishment, bottle in hand.
Is town square on the way to hall?
The town master's house is town hall or town square adjacent. One of the larger buildings, bell tower in the back.
I want to go up to the bartender and that the ring you bought that he just gave you. Can I see it?
For a gold.
Well, can I buy it for a gold?
Certainly.
I'll exchange a gold for the ring.
Yeah, it says, to Sildar, with love from Mercy. It's clearly a wedding ring. It's in the tradition of the human wedding bands.
How do I subtract gold from my inventory?
You go to your party sheet with the inventory and you type in 1 less gold than you currently have.
Oh, on the party sheet, okay.
On your character sheet. It should be character inventory all the way at the bottom. Treasure.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, you buy the ring. Clearly, I mean, his wedding ring at some point, whether, you know, that's meaningful now or what it indicates. Certainly, why doesn't everybody just give me a basic intelligence check? Excellent, excellent, excellent. 17 from Rife, 23 from Calais.
Nat 20.
Yeah.
With that nat 20, it is clear that this is not how he has always functioned as a human being. Right? Had he been trading his personal possessions for a bottle of booze, nursing his hand, self-pitying, all this shit, right? Like, he would not have been a Griffin Knight of Waterdeep, right? He would not be wearing the Lord's Alliance Gambus on, right? He would not, you know, been hired by Gundarin in the first. He doesn't hire drunks, right? Like, so all of this speaks to you that the events that, I mean, getting waylaid by goblins, right? He's getting on it as years. He lost his sword hand. Sildar's probably having a crisis of faith and dealing with it with some less than healthy coping mechanisms. But, I mean, who fucking cares? He's just a random guy in the cave at this point, right? He owes you some money, but outside of that, who knows? So.
Yeah, Sildar, never got to thank you last night for,
Oh no, he marched out.
You already left.
He already
left.
He waved at you, took a shot, left.
I guess
Well,
we
I'll
better
talk to him
head the
later.
town square.
Yeah, I think we should go. I think we should go talk to Gladys. Gladys Greywind. Yeah, he's trying to knock down the lights again.
Excellent. So we're headed to the Lion Shield Costers, then. Is that the general?
Definitely, yeah.
Excellent, excellent. Well, the Lion Shield Coster is a building that's freshly stacked log construction with the same rough-hewn wooden paneling as a lot of the other buildings in the area. The back of the building, though, appears to have been built into an existing set of dwarven ruins, making the back third or so a reinforced stone wall as opposed to the new timber construction of the frontage. hanging, excuse me, I'm skipping paragraphs again. There are the beginnings of a blacksmith shop being built on the outer side of the structure, though still missing a forge and an anvil specifically. You can tell from the layout, the trough, everything, the overhang, that this is going to be a blacksmith shop at some point. Alright, the, hanging above the door is a sign shaped like a wooden shield with a blue lion painted on it. Judging from the vivid blue paint, it can't have hung there for more than a couple of months. As you push into the door, the interior of the shop smells of freshly hewn timber, fresh wood staying, and a rich perfumed smoke. Why doesn't everybody who is smelling this thick incense give me a Wisdom Arcana check?
Wisdom Arcana?
Yep. Oh, Intelligence Arcana. Ha-ha! Isn't that it? Yes. That's the one I wanted.
So it's not defined, but I don't think that I smell.
Oh.
Oh,
yeah,
you
well,
smell.
Yeah, well, you definitely smell, but I'm not
You
sure that
give off
you're
a
right.
smell, but
Yeah.
you don't use your
Don't
nose
have
anymore.
I don't have a sense of smell.
None of you identify the smoke. You know what, Rife, why don't you give me this as well, actually, and with advantage. You would be familiar with this. The color of the taint of the bluish smoke in the air, even.
Oh, the arcane.
Yeah, pretty common back in the day. Less common now, but you don't get it either. Fuck this story hint. Yeah, rows of empty shelves are adorned with hand-painted signs written in the common trade language that read, "Coming soon," and "A roaring good deal awaits," with a little blue lion's head with its mouth open. You know, branding synergy, right? A few empty clothing racks and unclothed wood mannequins give way to the front counter, behind which sits a plump and graying woman. She is peering at a well-worn book through small spectacles that adorn the end of her bulbous nose. The nose itself is currently wrinkled in mild disgust, clearly in disagreement with the subject of the tome. Sitting on the counter next to her is an unsheathed dagger within grabbing distance, a loaded crossbow, and a block of green cheese, and an ashtray filled with the residue of several days of whatever she is currently smoking in her pipe. Why doesn't everybody give me an insight check? Very peculiar cheese. Excellent. Sariel, with that 20, honestly, I don't know how you of all people know this. That cheese is Lurian spring cheese, right? It's a cheese that produces a potent opiate-like drug during its fermentation and is eaten in very small slices due to its extremely potent sedative effect. Drug cheese. Halfling drug cheese. Canonical halfling drug cheese. I didn't even make that one up. Lurian spring cheese.
Interesting.
A psychotropic cheese. I've heard of that.
All right,
Don't take
and,
any.
She turns over the pipe and looks up. Thank you for that there. A greater healing potion for Sariel. She looks up from her tome, taps out the pipe, which lets out a little puff of the blue smoke, and says, "Welcome to the Lion Shield Costers. We're not opens yet."
Oh, well, Taliesin, I look around because I always open my mouth first, but I'm also quite aware that not everybody likes talking to dwarves. I appreciate that you're not open. We're not here to necessarily do business, but we were ambushed on the road towards Phandalin about a few miles back, and we came upon a cave where we tracked some goblins there, and they had a bunch of your shit.
They did
I
what
didn't know
now?
if you... Huh?
She now is paying attention. She closes the book. It appears to be a book of body romances.
I've read that one. It's not bad. The ending is a little piss poor, but you know, you don't read it for the ending, do you?
Well,
Maybe you do.
read it for the ending in a certain manner of speaking.
In a different way.
Yeah.
That was quite tawdry of you, you minx. As it is, and I was like, and I bring out the bag out of my backpack, and I'm like, we
Where
found.
did you procure that?
So a couple miles back down the road, we were ambushed by goblins, and we tracked them to their hideout. And one of the rooms is just full of crates with your insignia on it. We brought back a couple things. We didn't have room in our cart for much more, but we can definitely tell you how to get there. But we brought a crate and a sack. The crate's in my wagon.
Excellent. So you're telling me that there are more of these supplies in that caves, and I've just got to send somebody's?
Tons. We've already cleared out the goblins, unless more showed up, but we took care of the rest of them.
Well, that's news to my ears. How about this? Why about I give you, let's see here. She goes under the counter, pulls up a little notebook.
I kind of push Sariel closer to the front, to be ready to.
How
How
does
much
50
are you
gold
asking for?
pieces sound?
Just 50 gold pieces?
Well, I mean, the goods in the cart. I mean, I'm only missing 100 gold's worth of supplies. I'll tell you what, you're a sweet little thing. How about I do this for you? Now, it turns out we're having a little problem here in town. That you looks to be the kinds of people... I mean, if you're killing gobos, you might be able to, assuage this particular issue we be having.
Be it Edray Ransbay.
I don't know what the fuck you're saying. No, it's the red brands. What is this?
Sorry, it was giantish.
Oh, yeah, that would explain it. Yeah, no, I don't speak the devil tongues. No, but,
What can you do?
yeah, no, it's definitely the red brands. I mean, they're fucking everything up here. We're supposed to be starting a community. I mean, I'm on commission here for a 2-year contract from Yarder. I carry my ass 350 leagues from the goddamn east to come here. I have to go through Tribor. Can you believe it? Me, a Yatarian, traveling through Tribor. Why doesn't everybody give me a, history? Oh, these are beautiful history rolls. That 20... Well, that's an insight. No, 17's gonna do it. The cereal. Why do you know these things? You're like, oh, I read this book in the back of the wagon in the 4 minutes.
She heard
I
a
was
lot.
here.
Yeah, she heard a lot in that bar last night while she passed out.
So, 2 things, right? She has an unusual accent because she is indeed from the mercantile city-state of Yatar, right? Which is hundreds of miles to the east of the Sword Mountains, right? East even of the Long Road, which kind of bisects the center of the Sword of Faerun, essentially, right? I mean, well to the east, right? Her accent is unfamiliar because not many Yatarans make it further west than Tribor, right? Now, you know, for some reason, right, that this animosity dates back a couple hundred years, right, to the Lost Guide, right? There was a caravan of gold heading between the city-states of Tribor and Yatar, right? He got lost somewhere along the way. All that gold disappeared. Both cities blamed each other, right? And they've been at odds with each other ever since. So most Yatar trade can't make it past Tribor because the road that leads on the main trade path literally goes through the city of Tribor's main gates with the portcullis and the guard posts. And they're a little racist against the Yatarians, right? So, in addition to that, that 17, you know that the cart of gold disappeared, and that it's believed by some that the Lost Guard, along with that fortune of gold, can still be found entombed somewhere along the bottom of the River Desarin, as it stretches between the 2 city-states of Tribor and Yatar. So, interesting factoid. She's from a foreign mercantile city-state far to the east. Don't see a lot of people with her Jersey, Yatarian accent, right, as a result of that, right? And she also has rumors of a vast hoard of gold that might be discovered at some point in the future. If we could, you know, maybe start a corporation in Phandalin down the road that had the kind of pool to start a, you know, an archaeological dig that would divert a river and allow it to be dredged for a massive treasure and big dungeon. But, you know, Who knows anything about that? All you know is that there's this rumor that there was this lost caravan and there might be gold somewhere in a river. But yeah, she's Yataran. It all tracks. That's where the Lion Shield Costers are based out of, the city of Yatar. So...
I mean, we already have a bit of a bone to pick with the red brands, as it were.
As any decent person should.
I mean, they do. They seem like big old right bastards, don't they?
Yeah,
Are they
they're
all
a bunch
human?
of thugs.
Are they all human?
Yeah, it's hard to say. There's some big ones.
Have you ever seen Glassstaff himself?
No, he doesn't make himself known. He always sends out the foot soldiers. And they're the dregs, allow me to assure you. Anybody that can be scared off by my fat ass and this crossbow doesn't deserve to call themselves a soldier.
Where does he send them out from? Where do you know where he headquarters?
Oh, possibly the Sleeping Giant.
I know that they do a lot of drinking there, for sure.
Yeah, I learned that last night too. Sorry, forgot to tell you. We've been told that we should probably avoid it just because of the concentrated presence of RBs there.
That being said, are you guys familiar with Quaileen? Quaileen Alderleaf?
I've heard of Quaileen Alderleaf and her farm. Apparently, it's a quite nice place to stay. She lets people stay in her barn, right?
She's the town rumor mill. Right? If anybody would know where the Red Brands were stationed out proper, she would probably have her finger on the pulse of it. Nothing happens here without her catching edgewise.
That's great information. I appreciate it. What do you know about Darren Edemath?
Edemath, he mostly keeps to himself in that fruit orchard of his. He grows stone and breadfruit predominantly. Seems like a nice fella, comes into town. Doesn't really come to he doesn't need building supplies, so he hasn't been through here, but I have seen him at Barthen's.
So, when you get this place up and running, you'll be selling building supplies and, like, armor and weapons, eh?
Oh, well. On the DL, I might already have a little something of that. She slams her hand against the back wall, and it rotates, revealing the stone section, full armory.
Is this the back wall that's backed by the dwarven ruins?
It is. Mm-hmm.
Oh! Was that included, or did you add that?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Let's just say that, I'm not interested in selling weapons to anybody that would, not see Phandalin be its most successful. But you have access to anything in the player's handbook here.
Oh, fantastic. That's good to know.
Does that include armor?
Yes.
That's very helpful. I really appreciate it. Do you need us to draw you a map to the hideout where we found all your goods? Or you think your people can find it? Can do. And we're gonna work on dealing with this Arby's problem, right? And
they've got the meats.
They got what?
They've got the meats.
They do. Meat Mountain. That's one of I've heard from Mr. Bothan across the way that that's their big villain. He's their big champion, as it were.
Wasn't Mr. Ferry selling the Meat Mountain last week at the Kickin' Donkey?
Yeah, that's what I
I
heard.
believe it was 3 kinds of goat. Lamb,
Something
goat,
like
and
that.
mutton all piled on top of each other on a sesame seed
It's
bun.
just glutton. It's just
You know what,
gluttonous.
I don't disagree, Ziz.
How long, or do you have an estimate about how many red bands are in town?
That is a great question. So we hardly ever see them all at once. I would say that the most we ever saw them amassed is when they killed the woodcutter. They dragged his body into the town square and strung him up, made quite a spectacle of it. There must have been 20 or so of them in attendance there, along with one that might have been an ogre.
I have a question.
Yes.
Who hired these red bands?
Oh, my sweet summer child, you don't hire bandits. They move in when there's an opportunity. That being said, they seem to be led by a fellow who uses magic. Goes by Glassstaff, of all things.
Edgelord.
Edgelord, indeed. I mean, they're a bunch of douchebags.
You know, this town seems quite nice, but I've met a few of those since I've been here.
It's a recent development in Phandalin, and one that, frankly, is preventing this town from seeing its full potential. As I've discussed, it's one of my goals. It's one of the reasons I'm contracted here. If I end 2 years here and the town hasn't developed, then I'm out of a gig. And frankly, Gladys likes sitting on her ass.
Woman after my own heart. As it were, I pull out a small roll of parchment and a piece of chalk or charcoal or something to write with, and I kind of draw a loose map. And I'm like, how long have you been in town, Miss Greywind?
Oh, let's see, 3 months now. They had the place pretty much built up. I had to show the details. We got the racks in the first shipment, mannequins in the second. The third was supposed to be our first shipment of actual supplies propers.
Gladys,
Oh, and that's the one you're missing.
Ah. Yes.
you've come a long way from the east. Have you seen any castles on your way here?
I mean, the last thing I could say that passed for a castle along this way was Tribor. They've got the fortified walls, but...
Yeah, I kind of look at Sarah and I'm like, I doubt the goblins are going that far for Castle Cragmaw. I did see
I've
that
definitely not heard of any Castle Cragmaws.
Yeah, I mean, you know, goblins, they'll call anything a castle if it's taller than a hill.
That is what the gobbles in this area call themselves, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's who we cleared out a Cragmaw hideout, which is where we found your goods. As it is, this is where we found him. Do you ever do any business with any of the dwarven folk around here, like maybe Gundr and Rockseeker or any of his ilk?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I'm well familiar with Gundr, and he's well, quite the character in town. And I mean, about half the investment in the region. I don't even think the Coster would be contracted here had it not been for his advisement.
He does have his iron in a lot of fires, as it were. Have you seen his brothers lately?
Oh, it must be a 10-day or two since I last seen them.
That's what I heard. Well, we're going to be looking for them as well. Gundren has, we fell in with a compatriot of his that we found out at the hideout that had been captured, but Gundren seems to have been taken even farther, potentially to this Castle Cragmaw that we've heard about. So we're going to do our best to get him back.
I have no idea as to any castles in the area. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm a transplant myself, but, you know, castles, they kind of stick out, too. It's the kind of things that you think,
Oh, yeah.
You know.
He said he had... Have you ever seen anything with 2 turrets?
No, again, that sounds... I mean, there's the old dilapidated keep on the edge of town, but that's certainly... Nobody would call that a castle, not even goblins.
See, that's what I think, too, but that's the Trisander Manor, is it not?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what another chap, the guy that was Gundren's compatriot, he mentioned that as well. But I really appreciate your time. I don't particularly need to buy anything at the moment, but perhaps my friends do. But here's your map of where we found your stuff. As I said, we cleared it out. There is a waterfall and a kind of a tight walkway that you might want to be careful of, but you'll find your way through.
Thank you very much. And, do yourselves a favor. If you're gonna take on the Red Brands, don't let Harbin know.
Oh.
Is that the mayor? Town?
That's the mayor, isn't it?
He's the town master. We don't really have a mayor. We elect a fellow every year to solve the mild disputes and act as the de facto leader. But he's a bit of a pushover, and they've got him just scared as shitless, so...
Alright, so he might be kind of in their pocket a bit, eh?
I would say that he would be likely to appraise them of your plans should you make him aware. I mean, and not maliciously, mind you, he just would be under the assumptions that he was doing the right things.
I definitely appreciate the information you've given. And I kind of step away from the counter and let my friends do as they do.
Are we taking these 50 gold pieces right here?
Yeah. Yeah, we appreciate the gold as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, I appreciate your assistance. This actually answers some questions. I had been assuming it was these Red Brands. that were taking care of it. It makes sense it would be the Gobos, so the Red Brands would have bragged about it. The cheap
It was
bastards.
goblins, and they had a bugbear that was keeping it and trying to make himself, as it were, a lesser king of their faction.
Goblins are stupid. Anybody that would be led by a bugbear, not much of a soldier.
Agreed.
That creature was awful. He almost killed Rife and Alestria here.
He did give
Well,
a good
in that
wall.
case, take care when dealing with the local banditry, because they're a bit smarter than a bugbear.
Are there any civilians? Sorry, one more question. Are there any civilians that stay around the sleeping giant, or have they mostly cleared out anybody else? They just kind of keep to themselves over there.
I mean, there's the bartender over there. She's owned the place since before the Red Brands moved in. Grista, the dwarf. But she's always been. She makes me look friendlies.
Can I roll a knowledge check to see if I know if I've heard of her?
Grista, yeah, but I mean, I'm looking for like a 22 at disadvantage.
We'll see. What would that even be?
Savage, whoa.
Would that just be an intelligence check or a history check or something?
Inside?
Nope.
No, I know it's unlikely anyway. Not all. What? All dwarves know each other?
No, we don't. But I know Gundarin, and so I didn't know if maybe he'd
Right.
mentioned Grista.
No, she's just a holdover from a previous time here. The place has been going for 4 years. It's only in the last, handful of months, though, that it's really picked up and started to gain momentum as an actual place. She's had this watering hole there selling skunk ale since, people have been living here practically.
Ah, so she's not even selling good stuff. Well, bah. I appreciate your information.
Thank you for coming
Like
to
a-
Lion Shield Costas. Come back here in a few days and we'll have our first shipments of goods up.
Thank you.
Y'all gonna buy anything while you're here?
I don't really need
I'm not.
anything.
I
So
don't
do
think
we
I can
wanna-
afford
She
what I
slams
want.
on the wall, it rotates shut again.
We'll be back, I'm sure. I gather my friends around me, and I'm like, okay, do we even want to talk to Harbin,
No.
or do we just want to go on our way?
That sounds like a bad idea.
I think that we go talk to the gentleman at the orchard.
Wait,
Right. Darren?
we need to get our money from Sildar. Didn't he tell us to meet him somewhere?
He told us to meet him at Town Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can go there first. It's close.
We should probably catch up to him.
That
Indeed.
is
For sure.
a fair assessment of what you should be doing, for sure. And, let me pull all that's Phandalin and encounter in Phandalin is important NPCs in Phandalin. Oh my god, which is it in town description? I hate the way they organize this one in Fantasy Grounds in particular. It's just too much. And it is, the Town Master's Hall is, the next to the town square. Sturdy stone walls, not of dwarven build, but the only new stone construction in Phandalin right now. Clearly compiled from the ruins around, haphazardly stacked, but structurally more secure than any of the other buildings. Has a pitched wooden roof as opposed to the thatch that dominates the majority of them, and a bell tower on the back. Out front is a wooden notice board with all kinds of fall festival coming. Alderleaf would like 2 sheeps in exchange for pickled peaches. One of them says rewards orcs near Werventor. They're of mind to face the orc menace should require within. And bears a town seal with a P, and an indecipherable signature.
Are there any guards outside of the place in
There
this one?
are not.
Well, that's a surprising sign.
Yeah, perhaps, yeah. Inside of the place is, a big, large, richly appointed, like, Corinthian leather and hardwood interior. The fanciest place you've seen, by any standard. There are 3 functioning jail cells set off to one wall, and a, office set into the back that has, a little tiny dwarf, currently in the middle of painting a portrait of Harbin Wester, himself a rail-thin man with a hawkish nose, kind of standing with one hand tucked into his, jacket there, trying to look off into the distance, self-importantly. Off in the corner, right on a bench, there is Sildar, nursing the remnants of the bottle and scribbling kind of loosely in a form in between drinks with what was clearly not his dominant writing hand on a little tiny piece of parchment that's obviously going to be rolled up and put into a raven's leg capsule and flown off to Waterdeep, likely to procure the finances that he needs to pay everybody. Despite having polished the bottle, he is not visibly drunk.
Sildar, are you okay? I call as we walk over.
I'll be a lot better when I can figure out how to use this goddamn hand.
I might be
Do you
able to
need-
help you with that.
Yeah, do you need a hand? No offense meaning.
Are you literate and common?
I am.
Alright, come and write this for me, he says. And he prescribes a letter, saying he needs an advance 500 golds procurement from his retirement investiture in the Waterhavian Griffins, and if they could also send along a reimbursement of his clothes and, living supplies. He's going to be setting up a permanent establishment here in the hopes of solving this problem that he has with the contracted agreement, finding his ally in the Lord's Alliance, Yarno Albrecht, and getting Gundarin Rockseeker back into town for the stability of Phandalin and for the good of the region as a whole.
Have you heard anything about Gundarin? Or where he
I'm
might
not.
be?
If the goblins took him, your best bet might be to ambush some on patrol outside the town. Harbin here tells me they've been leading attacks with increasing frequency, sending out scouting expeditions, trying to pick off lone travelers, people working the fields and mining sites outside the city proper. There's a good chance that any of those scouting groups would be directly from wherever they're holding Gundarin. Thank you, CFTRPG.
There's even more goblins than the ones we've killed earlier?
It's goblins all the way down, lady.
I see.
That being said, I don't know if you noticed the contract board out front, but Mr. Weston here seems to think there's an orc den in the area as well. While the two don't generally associate, they might be in the know as to their goblinoid cousins' locality, if you were to locate and eliminate them for the town.
Yeah,
Why
that
don't
seems.
people give me a, what the hell am I looking for here? A skill check, certainly.
I have skills.
Insight?
Finally.
Yeah, that's better.
Ooh.
And that sucks because it's actually the wrong roll. What I want is an intelligence nature. Yeah, I know. In Savage Worlds, I got like 5 rolls, guys. Give me a break. You get so many skills.
Oh my God.
Many skills.
I'm
Wow,
really good at this, and I still only rolled a
You
3.
were really good at it, yeah, and you got an 8 with a +5. So that's rough. Serial, stop, first of all, rolling highest on, like, local geography and history rolls, because it's really hard on the narrative structure. Right?
Maybe next time I'll take disadvantage.
Just
Right,
don't
right.
let her roll.
Right, just
be like,
stop
you
rolling,
can't-
yeah.
You can't do this one. There's no way.
But, for some reason, you know that Werventor is a crack. crag, excuse me, that's visible from the Tribor Trail up in the Sword Mountains. Like, as you're passing on the horizon, there's this literal, like, crag in the rock face, right, that everybody goes, that's Werventor. Historically called Werventor because it used to be a Werven's nest. Not anymore. Now it apparently has orcs in it.
Is that like wyvern?
Yeah.
Is that the spelling? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that
Big old
place
crag.
the castle.
I mean, it could
Unlikely.
be. Oh, not likely. It couldn't be. That's not true.
Couldn't be.
It's a brutal area. Lots of orcs there. I don't like them either, but that's a whole different army.
Well, then let's pass on that one for now.
This letter that you had us write here, Mr. Sildar, sir. Did you mention someone named Yarno Albrick?
Aye. Another
He's a friend of
member of
yours.
the Lord's Alliance that was sent ahead here to provide a preliminary report. He disappeared a month or two ago, and we've had no notification of him since.
Well, maybe he's where Gundren is.
Yeah.
Maybe. They could have taken him as well. That does seem to add up.
So I saw here that you're planning on setting up a permanent residency here in Phandalin, or at least
Aye.
in the region somewhere.
I'm gonna set up here in the town hall in service of finding Gundren until at least we can recover him or his body and my contract's finished. Then, well, frankly, I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself.
Well, I mean, you never know where the road might take you, but we'd never turn down another a fifth to our party if you're ever looking to head back out on the road.
And what exactly am I supposed to do with this? He says, holding up his, half-eaten sword hand.
You learn to use the other.
I've seen plenty of people learn to use the other arm, just as my friend was saying.
That might be true, but that'll be the kind of thing we'll have to discuss next week. Because that's right, guys. Boom. He's gotten the last line 2 shows in a row now. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Is this going to be the thing? Sildar's going to have to show up and be like, I know you guys are in a dungeon right now, but I just had to say, the show's over. Right? Like, yeah, but that's our episode. For a stump knife, for sure. I mean, craft his ass a sword that goes on his stump and let him stump. He's a griffin. He's a Waterhavian griffin knight. If you guys can get him back on his feet, holy fuck, right?
I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna have the Lion Shield Costers build him, something that straps onto his forearm and his stumpy hand, but it's gonna have like a scythe on it or like a sickle.
Mm-hmm.
That would be
That
badass.
sounds cool.
Badass, yeah, for sure.
Like a meat hook.
Like a big
Almost,
old meat hook.
But
scythier.
like big, like he could just whoosh,
For more reaping.
and then, we're just gonna Jeepers Creepers it.
Well, guys, we have made it to the end of our 3rd episode of Dungeons & Dragons, The Rod of 7 Realms. Thank you so much for joining us. Like I said at the beginning of the broadcast, there are a million ways you could be spending your evening, and it means so very much to us that you have chosen to spend it with us. Seriously, it's fantastic, it's encouraging, and we love literally each and every one of you. Hashtag Goblin Big Boss. Oh no, never mind. That's not gonna happen because we executed him in a ditch on the side of the road.
Well, that's not going to happen unless you spend those potions of or drams of fate to create that villain.
50,000 drams of fate. Billy the Goblin can stand up from that ditch and go vengeance. But we'll have to see that next week as well if that's to transpire. That's right, Stumpsicle might be the hashtag this week. Let's get Sildar Hallwinter coming together. We're going to build him up as a character together and reestablish him as the knight we know he can be. Either that or Rife's going to hit him in the back of the head and steal all his gear. I'm still not sure which direction that's going to go. Or maybe we can cut his legs off, and if we also take his tongue out, people will mistake him for an orphan.
Only if we
Right,
put a
like-
bag over his head first.
Right, bag.
Always
bag
got
is
the
that-
bag. Always the
We've
bag.
got to take him to a desert black site and teach him how drowning isn't actually drowning if you do it with a cloth over your face.
Oh,
yeah, no.
God.
It's just fantastic. But from the League of Raconteur Explorers to yourself, Perfabulum Veritas. That's right. I did it. That both times I said it right. 3 episodes
Nice.
in, I remember the name of my own channel.
Our D4.
Oh, I've forgotten the role again. Who is starting the story next week? It can't be Rife this week. So 1 through 4. Let's see. And it's a 3, so we're rolling it again. Let's see. And it's a 1, so Sari L will
Oh,
be
nice.
opening up next
Nice.
week with our
What I can come up
campfire
with.
tale. That's, I mean, I am excited to find out, right? It's going to be wonderful. And it was wonderful to have you all here. So from the League of Raconteur Explorers to yourself, Perfabulum Veritas, and may your dice always roll hot. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.